Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another IdahoSports.com broadcast here from District 2, Game Night on the Palouse. Although we're in the LC Valley tonight, brought to you by P1FCU. Folks, tonight in the booth, or on top of the booth, that is, I'm Garrison Hardy, and with me, as always, is the coach, Jason Hanson. Jason, here we go again.
Oh, yeah, perfect night and great weather. I'm glad it's not raining like it did yesterday.
Amen, amen, right there with you. As Jason mentioned, beautiful weather tonight here in the LC Valley. There's a light breeze coming over, clear skies as far as the eye can see, beautiful sunset going on. We're ready for some football, and it is Military Appreciation Night. So we are going to cut away and honor our military veterans, let them do the national anthem. But we'll be right back here in Lewiston, Idaho, as the Bengals prepare to take on the Bulldogs. Be right back.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Bill Smith.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Lewiston, Idaho, as the Lewiston Bengals are set to host the Sandpoint Bulldogs. And we just had a good presentation there. It is Military Appreciation Night here in Lewiston. That's always a big part of this community, Jason.
It is. I think it's just really kind of moved into every community now, and the fact that not only did they just do the presentation of the local units, but also now they have honorary color guard and captains that are kind of heading out there too. So just a nice way to honor those guys that a lot of times didn't get respect when they came home. So it's just a moving tribute, and what an awesome deal.
Absolutely. So the captains are making their way out on the field tonight, so we got a football game to talk about as well. And tonight, Sandpoint and Lewiston, two programs with a lot of tradition coming here to play on this field for Friday Night Lights. And Jason, let's go ahead and start with Sandpoint. To the fans at home who maybe didn't get to see Sandpoint in action, you got a good team on your hands. Last year they finished 8-3 with their 3 losses coming to Coeur d'Alene. They lost to Coeur d'Alene by 2, and Coeur d'Alene, well, they're a pretty good program. They lost to Homedale, and they lost to Skyline in the state final. So what a successful year for Sandpoint. And Jason, again, I've mentioned tradition. Sandpoint's got it.
Yeah, and Coach Knowles has got his dudes definitely playing better, and every year they're just getting better and better and sharper, and his stamp is really on there. Sandpoint's been good for decades, and one of well, those people watching at home, I would love to go watch that the War Memorial Stadium up there and watch a game and maybe call a game someday. So, yeah, definitely one of those programs in towns that just rally up, and Friday night's a big night, and they do a nice job of supporting their veterans as well.
Absolutely. And on the other side, Lewiston, another team with a lot of tradition, history, and last year a very successful campaign. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. You know, one of their losses midway through the season came to Sandpoint, 42-41. That was a heck of a ball game.
That was, and you know, as a coach, you don't want it to be that close, but as a fan and as someone broadcasting, that's exactly what you want. Everybody's hanging on to the very end, and really kind of shows the matchup between these two storied programs that they bring it on every night, and when they match up against each other, it's winner take all.
And we've got the captains at midfield. It appears Lewiston has declined to the second half. So we'll see what the official lineup is here. And Sandpoint will receive the opening kickoff from Lewiston, and they'll be kicking from right to left. And that's how we're going to start things off here. But Jason, let's take a look at both of these teams, how they've been doing thus far this season. For Sandpoint, they've kind of had an interesting start. They started 0-2, two close losses to Atla and Coeur d'Alene. Then their game against Colville was canceled, and then they finally got picked up a win against Homedale. But now they're kind of coming in. That's got to be tough for a player to suddenly have a game canceled. Your schedule gets thrown around a little bit. Take me through what's going on over there with Sandpoint.
Well, I think with anytime, and there's kind of part of that rumble where Idaho plays Utah, and it's really one of those situations where the Utah starts earlier than Idaho, and so they're kind of on game 2 or so by the time we play our first game. And then, like you said, you have a game canceled in the middle of the season or so far what they've had. And then you wrestle with Homedale, who's a storied 3A program. So Coach Knowles, I'm sure, has those, as always, those 2 games at the end of the season. That's what you're really playing to get sharpened up for. But iron sharpens iron, and so they go ahead and wrestle with the 5As and don't even worry about, wins, losses, and all that. They're just going to match up just like tonight and battle as best they can.
That's right. And speaking of the 5A, they're introducing the Lewiston starting lineup here. And for Lewiston, they started off, like you said, with a loss against the Utah school, 41-28. That the Utah school had already played 2 or 3 games. Then they've run the gauntlet the rest of the way. They've gone 3-0 since and have put a beating on everybody they've come across. And tonight they hope to do the same against Sandpoint.
Well, their schedule almost looks like they're trying to be the Northwest champion. They had a team from Idaho that they beat up on. They beat up on Clarkson across the river from Washington, and then they just beat up on Pendleton from Oregon. So they're just come take us on. We'll travel to you. We just want to battle, and so I'm sure Sandpoint just rode that bus down here like, okay, you want to wrestle? Let's go for it.
That's right. Now, Jason, we've talked about both teams and their programs, kind of the overall view. Who are some players that we are supposed to keep an eye on for the fans at home? Let's go ahead and start with Sandpoint, the visitors.
Well, I think it's always going to be the quarterbacks, right? I mean, that's going to be a situation where those 2 quarterbacks are going to be just as good as they've been billed. Parker Pettit from Sandpoint's going to be somebody you're going to keep an eye on. Not only did he lead his team to a state championship, stumbled at the end, but definitely was one of those programs that just one of those kids who can do it all with his feet, with his arm, just leads the huddle and those kinds of things. But also the defense is going to be an important piece as well. So those linebackers are going to be coming and flowing and going to want to stop that Lewiston run, that's for sure.
And on the other side, speaking of the Lewiston run, the Lewiston Bengals, who are some players that we've got highlighted?
Well, it's going to be the battle of the 9s, like I mentioned before. The quarterback, Drew Hottinger, is going to be somebody who's going to put the ball in the air. Last week he had 5 touchdowns in the air and 1 on the ground. So, and just kind of one of those little footnotes, he had a school record 94-yard pass to Austin Lawrence, big boy at 6'5", and so it's going to be one of those where they're going to put the ball in the air, and those DBs and linebackers from Sandpoint are going to be ready for the task, I'm sure. So it's going to be an interesting wrestling match between a little bit ground and pound and who can manage the game, and you can't blame the weather here because it's just beautiful. It's dry air, like you said. It's just enough of a breeze to keep the players in a cool zone, and they're not going to have to be too too worried about their hydration.
That's right. Now, for the fans at home as well, you've seen Lewiston a couple of times with us already this season, and one thing you can expect is the go-go offense. Lewiston really likes to speed it up on that side of the ball. It doesn't really give you a chance to breathe if you're a defense or if you're a broadcaster. On the flip side, Jason, have you had a chance to see Sandpoint at all, or what kind of things can the folks at home be expecting?
Well, I was lucky to watch Sandpoint a couple of times last year, and Coach Knowles, just like Coach Bankary, really have established their personality in the program, and both programs are really going to be ready to battle, and it's going to be some hitting on both sides. The running backs and receivers are going to bring some pain with them, as well as those defenders. So it's going to be right off the bat from the special teams kick all the way to the final play, maybe some overtime if we're lucky, and it's going to be one of those where it's going to be Katie bar to the door, because here comes some football.
Here comes some football. The Lewiston Bengals have made their way onto the field to join the Bulldogs, and they're getting set for the opening kick tonight. And set to kick off is Kyson Barden, number 49. He's got quite the leg on him. We've seen him kick it into traffic a couple of times from the PAT spot, so he's going to send this one deep. Back deep to receive. You got a pair of Bulldogs with their feet on the 5-yard line. That looks like on the far side, number 2. That is Levi Ballison. And then as well as, I want to say that's number 15, Forrest Ambridge. Lewiston on the right side of your screen. They're going to be in the black, purple, and gold helmets. Yellow, whatever you want to take. And then on the left side, you got the Sandpoint Bulldogs repping their red and white. And if Lewiston has it their way, those jerseys are going to get dirty. Got a slight breeze coming in from the far side of the field. Again, crystal clear skies tonight in Lewiston. As now we just await the official word.
Just a reminder that concessions are open.
And concessions are open, for those wondering. We're just waiting for the go-ahead from the officials. It looks as though they're waiting for their clocks to strike. Let's see what time we got here. Yeah, we got a minute or so before 7 o'clock, so I suppose we got to wait for kickoff time.
Well, in the meantime, that popcorn that's upwind from us is just blowing right in nice and gentle, going, come on, come over here.
All right, we've got the word. The officials are set, and with the left foot, Kyson Barden ready to send this into the Lewiston night sky. Friday Night Lights here, game night on the Palouse. Brought to you by P1FCU. It's taken inside the 5, and we've got maybe a reverse here. And they hand it off, that's to number 19, and Lewiston was not fooled at all. They tried to get it to Eli Allshouse, and they did not fall for it.
Yeah, I like the play call. It just was slow developing. So I like the idea of you're matching up against a rival. It's a non-league game. Try something maybe a little bit of a wrinkle. But it just took a little bit too long to develop, and they paid for it.
And as a result, Sandpoint's going to start this drive at their own 6-yard line. So they got 94 yards of green in front of them. They're going to come out in 4 wide receivers on this side. And the gun, the quarterback, Parker Pettit. He's going to take the snap, hand it right up the middle, run to start this drive, and he is bottled up pretty close to the backfield, and it's going to remain 2nd and 10.
And we talked about that before. Coach Pancary's defensive line is one of their stalwarts, so it's going to be important for Sandpoint to get some push off of that, off the ball right off the bat.
2nd and 10 now. Pettit's going to line up in the gun once again. He's being flanked on his right side by number 18, Cody Brewster. Lewiston showing man-to-man over the top. Pettit takes a snap, rolls to his right, looking downfield. It floats it over the top to Brewster. Brewster's at the 10, and he's nearly spun down, finally brought down and hammered hard at the end of that run, and he's able to get close to the 10-yard line. So about a pickup of 5 on the play, and it's going to make it 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, that's Parker right in his shadow of his end zone, or maybe in the end zone, just having the presence of mind of delivering a nice ball and picking up a nice gain.
So it's going to be 3rd and 5. Ball at the 10-yard line. Lewiston showing pressure from the near side. That's Jared Jelinek dropping back into a cover 3 look. 4 wide receivers once again for the Bulldogs. Pettit takes the snap. He's going to go left this time. He throws it. It's an out route, and it's incomplete, nearly intercepted. The intended target was Hunter Garcia, but it's off his fingertips, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, the nice thing is they're trying to spread the field, but the bad thing is that also creates some defensive lanes to pick up the ball if they need to.
Now 4th and 5, ball on the 10. You'd like to think that they're going to punt this one away, but we'll see what the coaches come up with here. Back deep to receive from Lewiston is Braden Rice. We've called his name a lot this season. Talented wide receiver. We'll see what he's able to do on the return here. Now, they're lined up as though they could run a play here, but it'll likely be a quarterback kick. Let's see what they got. And it is, and that went off the side of his foot, and that is going to be a great starting position for the Bengals. Not really what the Bulldogs were hoping for.
Yeah, this is right up to what Lewiston was hoping to script. You had a nice play on special teams, and then defense holds. And then on the punt, they don't really fall for the idea that maybe it's a punt or a play, rather, and then now they get the ball in really nice field position.
So 1st and 10 for Lewiston. They're going to spot this one at the 25-yard line. And again, folks, this is the go-go offense. So after every play, they're going to hustle to the line of scrimmage and be ready to go. They've got 2 backs and a hatchback in the backfield. And they're going to hand this right up the middle to number 5. That's Chris Ricard. And he's able to drive his way forward for a gain of a couple.
Yeah, and there's that Sandpoint defense this time. You can go as fast as you want, but if you don't pick up a lot of yards, then they're going to be able to stall and stay right where they need to be.
So only a gain of 1 on the play. 2nd and 9. And Sandpoint's got 2 down linemen, and they've got a lot of standing 2-point defenders. And they're going to hand this one off to number 21, who's got the near side. He's inside the 10 and brought down. Excellent run from Jackson Lathan.
Yeah, nice job by Coach Pancary's crew, just kind of probing the sides. They tried it up the middle. This time they get enough blockers to pick up all those great defenders we were talking about, and they out-leverage them.
So they're now at the 10-yard line, and it's going to be 1st and goal. And they take the snap, they fake it. That goes out to Lathan on the far side, who jukes a defender, tries to get forward, and he's brought down. Good response there from the Bulldogs to get to the ball quickly.
Yeah, and we talked about Parker Pettit with having good feet. This time Hottinger just stands in there, delivers a nice ball, and he picks up a nice gain.
Hottinger once again in the gun. He's got trips to the far side, but this time they're going to have Hottinger line up in the gun. It's a wildcat play. They go to Ricard, who dives forward, and he's close to the goal line. Mark him down at the 2.
Yeah, with all that misdirection, it's kind of hard to know who has the ball on any play, and then when you go wildcat, it even just adds another level. Hottinger might end up with the ball on the handoff, and then he could throw it from there.
3rd and goal for the Bengals. Hottinger in the pistol. He's got Ricard behind him, Lathan to the left side, and now Hottinger goes in motion. Ricard takes it. He's going to keep it himself. Dives forward, but he's brought down before the goal line. And it looked like the ball came free there for a moment, but that appears that's going to be 4th and 1.
And there's that stout Sandpoint defense. We talked about the Lewiston D-line. This time the linebackers really flew right to where they needed to be and put a stop to it.
Can Sandpoint dig themselves out of a hole here and get a 4th down stop? Here we go, 4th and goal. And Hottinger right up the middle, dives for the end zone. Touchdown! Lewiston draws first blood, and they're up 6-0.
Boy, that was just by an inch, but that's all you need right there. Linebackers right where they needed to be. The D-line held, but he was able to extend that big frame, get across the line, and the field position really paid off for Lewiston that time.
And looks like Lewiston's going to go for the PAT, and Jackson Lathan is going to kick this one. It's a high snap. They try to get it down, but to no avail. That snap just made it impossible to get that kick off, so the score is going to remain 6-0.
Well, and we've seen that, unfortunately for Lewiston fans, we've seen that kicking game be a little suspect at times, and so being an old 8-man coach, what the heck, let's just go for it, and now you're probably going to see it anyway.
So excellent starting drive and starting field position for Lewiston. Jason, thus far, kind of a worst-case scenario start for the Bulldogs, but we still got a lot of time left.
For sure, and Sandpoint knows you play these games in the long game, not okay, here goes a start and a stop, and what do we do on this play? Coach Knowles' crew is going to get everything corrected, and they'll probably get a nice return right out of the blocks on this one, and then their offense will be rolling.
Assuming they don't run the same play as last time. I'm kidding. Lewiston set to kick things off here. They're going to bring out the kicker. That is number 49 for the Bengals. That's Kyson Barden. And then back deep to receive for the Bulldogs is number 19. That's Eli Allshouse. And then on the far side, I want to say that is Hunter Garcia, number 7. Or that could be number 8. Joe Bonek, and I'm just not sure, but that's okay.
We'll just read the roster. It's going to be one of them, right?
Yeah, and it could be number 10. No, I'm kidding.
And everybody's parents are like, my kid's in the game.
That's right. You never know here on IdahoSports.com. Hey, by the way, on IdahoSports.com, we want to thank our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valleywide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the new sponsor of the IdahoSports.com Player of the Game, by the way. You'll be hearing about that later. And the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. Well, let's go places. So thank you to our major partners there. And by the way, make the memories last a lifetime by owning the digital game file of this game for just $9.95. Just click the button in the top right corner. And it looks as though the officials had to switch a ball out while I was blabbing.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a ball shuffle going on there. So
that's right.
I'm not sure if one, after the kick, they were using the wrong ball or whatnot. But here we go. We're all teed up and ready to rock.
Kyson Barden, his second kick of the night, and he sends it to the far side of the field, and it's taken at the 5-yard line, and he's got at the 20. He finds a gap, and he's brought down at the 25-yard line, and we'll see who carried that. That was number 8. I was right. Garrison's right every once in a while. You heard it here first. That was Joe Bonek on the carry.
Well, and that was a nice job by Barden getting a nice, good, deep kick. That was probably hidden in the last play also, that they're getting it pushed all the way back near the goal line, and so they have to get started with a lot of field to go. And now Sandpoint comes out here. They probably have a couple of plays that they saw that they wanted to go to near midfield, and we're probably going to start with that list of plays here.
1st and 10. Shotgun set once again for the Bulldogs. 4 wide receivers. Lewiston has 3 down linemen. And they're going to hand this one up the middle into the teeth of that defensive front, and he's not going to go anywhere. That was number 14, Cole Timothy, on the carry.
Yeah, and I saw number 0, Robert Storm, in there too, just wrapping up everybody with those big paws.
And excuse me, that was number 44, Joseph Hughes. And Jason Sandpoint will touch on this next play, but they've got kind of a stable of running backs here. Shotgun set once again, Hughes in the backfield, and now we've got a big swap going on here. Go to more of a power set. Motion for Sandpoint. And they went right back up the middle, and Lewiston met it emphatically, and that play didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but I like the idea of having a shift to more of a power run, give Lewiston a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. But like you said, that defensive line, the linebackers flew, and again, both these defenses have a great front 7.
3rd and 10. Just over 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Pistol look for the Bulldogs, trips to the far side of the field. And we've got ourselves an encroachment there. That's on number 58 for Lewiston. That is Nate Renzelman. And you know how it is on these 3rd down plays. You really want to get a good rush to the quarterback, and then they hit you with that hard count. It's the worst.
Yeah, and those are kind of some hidden plays in there where all of a sudden now it's a 3rd and manageable, and kind of change the play call, looks like.
So Parker Pettit in the pistol. Again, same exact formation for the Bulldogs. For Lewiston, they've got 4 down linemen this time. They're ready to bring the heat. Over the top, it's man-to-man coverage. Pettit takes the snap, He's looking, and it's going to be a screen play to the far side. That's Hughes. Lowers the shoulder, but he's brought down well short of the first down marker. And that's going to bring up 4th and about 6, maybe even a loss on the play.
Yeah, it looked like Elliott Taylor over there. You know, the linebackers, again, running backs and linebackers doing a nice job on both sides. It's just kind of a stalemate at this point on this possession for Sandpoint.
4th and 6 now. And once again, they come out in a formation that could be a play, but could also be a punt, and Lewiston thinks so. Braden Rice is back deep to receive. Pettit gets rid of it. Better punt this time as Rice has to go chasing it, and he's going to let it bounce inside the 30, and it comes to a rest at the 29-yard line. So a much better punt this time around for the Bulldogs.
Well, and if the camera guy would have been a little better, he would have saw that he was almost touching that, thinking, well, maybe I could scoop it up and pick up some yards, and the Sandpoint defender was right there. If he made that call, and might have come away with a little bit of a strip if he had done that. So again, that punt play kind of holds the Lewiston defense in check, and now Lewiston has a lot more yardage to go this time. See if Sandpoint's defense can rise up this time.
Sandpoint comes out with 3 down linemen and 2 outside linebackers showing pressure. Ricard, he's going to take the snap. He's going to roll to his right, looking deep downfield. Here comes a shot. It's well short, and it's incomplete. Jared Jelinek had to come back and play defense on that one.
Yeah, a little bit of we talked about Hottinger a little bit. Now we have a little bit of a quarterback change, and I like the idea. Just kind of, it's a non-league game. Try a couple different little wrinkles and see what happens.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion from Ricard. Ball's on the 29-yard line. Good defense that last play from Sandpoint. 5:52 to go here in quarter number 1, 6-0. Hottinger back in the gun. 2 backs flanking him to his left, but he's going to go to the up back. That's James White. Tries to get to the outside, and we've got a face mask big time. And no call, my goodness.
At the same time, that Lewiston blockers this time couldn't get all the defenders, whether there was a face mask or not there, that's to be said. But again, nice flow by the linebackers. Both teams, the second level, just doing a nice job of getting to the ball.
3rd and 5, and the official, he's got a better view. He was right there. 3rd and 5, ball on the 34, and Hottinger's got a quick slant route across the middle. He's got the first down and more, and he's at the 50, but runs into a brick wall. That was a big hit there from number 22, Weston Benefield, but a good catch there from number 88 for Lewiston, Austin Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence doing a nice job of finding that soft spot. You know, those defenders do a nice job flowing, but sometimes that flow creates an opening.
1st and 10 after the pickup. And they're going to go right up the middle back to Ricard. Ricard knifes his way through the defense, lowers the shoulder, and he's got close to a first down. Ricard, he brings a different element to this rushing attack. He's got some power.
Yeah, Ricard, not sure if he's quarterback in waiting or he's a fullback or whatever, but he is definitely bringing some thunder.
Hottinger in the gun. Once again, pressure being shown from Sandpoint. It's an option play here. They get it out to Jackson Lathan on the far side. He's got the first down and more. He's at the 30, and he lowers the shoulder. And they are brought down inside the 30 after that one. And Jason, boy, we are seeing some big hits on either side.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of time to correct it if you're Sandpoint fans. That go-go, when it starts to get a little momentum like it does now, all of a sudden it can be a little bit of a problem because you don't have a lot of time to stand there and get guys corrected. It looks like we did have a penalty on this, and everybody seems to be marching, walking back to the midfield.
So that is against the Bengals, holding against the Bengals, and that is going to be a mark them all the way back at the original down marker almost. So it's going to be 2nd and 10.
When this is the kind of the moment maybe Sandpoint can rally up and get a stop here.
Hottinger takes the snap. He's got receivers down the middle. He's looking. He steps up into the pocket, fires, and it's caught by James White well past the first down sticks, and he's going to slide out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, nice job of extending that play, letting White get open over on the far side and making it hard for the cameraman.
There we go. 1st and 10 now after the completion to James White. Ball spotted at the 31-yard line. Lewiston driving, Sandpoint trying to get a stop. White goes in motion from right to left across the formation, near side of your screen. And they're going to hand this to Jelinek on a sweep. He's got the outside. He gets to the sideline. He's inside the 20, 15, jukes, and he's pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. And they'll spot him down at the 9.
Well, one thing Lewiston does a nice job of, their receivers block for each other. the running backs block for receivers, and so pretty soon you have a whole bunch of dudes out there blocking for each other and being selfless. Sandpoint does a nice job of flowing. They just can't quite get there fast enough.
First and goal from the 9. Lewiston back in the red zone. They converted on their first try. And Hottinger keeps it himself, and he's tripped up and falls inside the 5-yard line. Mark him down at the 3.
Yeah, that's a nice job right there by the Sandpoint defender, number 87, Neely Tyrell, putting a stop to that quarterback run.
Second and goal. Hottinger keeps it himself, rolling to his right. He's got White in the end zone, and that looks like a catch to me. It is. Touchdown, Lewiston. They're up 12-0.
Well, they have that misdirection where you have running backs coming back across, and cameraman's trying to figure out who has the ball, and looks like the defense was a little stunned just a little bit. Like you said, it was allowed White to get open just to get enough space to get those big paws up there. Looks like we are going to go back to a kick. Something for them to work on in this non-league game.
This is Jackson Lathan set to kick. 0 for 1 thus far, and a good snap, good hold. Kick is up and through the uprights. And hey, this one didn't go out into the street, so that's a plus. And Lewiston has a 13-0 lead.
13-0 for the Bengals.
So Jason, last time Lewiston had a much shorter field. They were able to punch it in. This time they march the length of the field essentially. Put a good drive together with both passing and running, and they punch it in.
Yeah, Lewiston's doing a nice job of keeping everything fresh and off balance. They're building off of that misdirection with some power run and then pass beyond that. It's going to be important for Sandpoint. These two do match up, and they do play great football against each other. It's going to be important for them not to get any deeper into a hole. So if they have some go-to plays, now's the time to definitely break those out, and hopefully they can get something on the scoreboard for the Sandpoint fans.
So, Jason, last time we touched on the fact that Sandpoint, they've got kind of a stable of running backs back there, and they're obviously still waiting for them to get the ball rolling here. But take me through how nice it is to have 3 guys that you can hand the rock to.
Yeah, and the quarterback besides. Just running that misdirection and kind of getting some things. It just was like we've seen with Lewiston. If you can get some things really happening, then you can build off of that with some misdirection, and then everybody stays fresh, and not everybody's taking that punishment like we've seen with some big hits.
So Kyson Barton once again set to send it deep. And he does. He's going to send it inside the 5-yard line, and it's taken for the Bulldogs. And they're going to get up into a mass of defenders up at the 20-yard line, and that's where they're going to start things off here. That was returned by number 8, Joe Bohannick.
Yeah, nice job with ball security with that many guys right there. When you run into that big wall, sometimes it can get jarred loose. So nice job by him keeping the ball secure, ball tough. Now it's going to be important for Sandpoint to go to some go-tos and get Lewiston guessing with what they're trying to do on defense.
So 1st and 10 here for the Bulldogs. They've had the ball 2 times thus far, and each time has ended in a punt. We'll see what they're able to do here. Pettit in the gun, 4 wide receivers. Lewiston has 3 down linemen on this one, 1 outside linebacker. And Pettit takes the snap, hands it off right up the middle, and he runs into the teeth of that defensive front for Lewiston. And once again, it's only a minor pickup.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, that defensive line up there doing a nice job of just kind of collapsing down. Elliott Taylor, middle linebacker, kind of flowing up there as well. And so Sandpoint probing that middle just to see if it's gotten soft, which it hasn't.
2nd and 7 after a pickup of 3. Trips to the near side in a bunch formation. Pettit, he's going to look that way first, but then goes back the other side to a screen play, and it's Hughes. Hughes tries to follow a block, and he does. He's got a first down. That is Sandpoint's first down of the night.
Yeah, and that's a great play right there. We talked about keeping them off balance. They had that big pass rush from those defensive linemen, just like we talked about. They're all starting to get kind of salivating, like I think I might get a sack. Instead, they throw the ball over the top with that screen play. Nice job of picking up the first down.
1st and 10 there. First one of the night for the Bulldogs. Trips to the near side of your screen. Pettit in the pistol. And pressure being shown by the Bengals right up the middle. In fact, 4 blitzers thus far, maybe 5. And they bring 5. Pettit, he has to get rid of it quickly. It's a little hook route there, right to the center of the field. And that is caught by number 10, Ari Vandenberg. And that was a pick of about 5 or 6.
Nice big target right there. Well, and Pettit having the wherewithal to stand in there with all that defense coming to your face, but he does deliver the ball, and they pick up a nice gain.
So it was a pickup of 6, actually. 2nd and 4 now. And they're finally on schedule here are the Bulldogs, starting to pick up some steam. 2 wide receivers on either side for the Bulldogs, and then 1 back in the backfield. That's number 44, Joseph Hughes. 4 rushers for the Bengals, and now here come the linebackers as Hughes picks his way into the secondary, and he drags the defender with him all the way to the 38-yard line. First down run there for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Now they're guessing a little bit. That was Parker Pettit just keeping it himself, getting the yards he needed, and now they're moving the sticks. Everybody's looking over there, finding some confidence. Coach Knowles has got to like what's going on here.
Minute and a half to go here in the first quarter. 13-0 in favor of the Bengals, but the Bulldogs are driving. They're inside the 40 for the first time tonight.
And again, that shift, making Lewiston kind of look around and go, okay, now what are they doing?
Power formation look here for the Bulldogs, as Jason mentioned. And Pettit's under center. And they're going to hand it on a sweep this time. That's number 5 is Max Frank, the wide receiver. And he gets spun down on the far side of the field, but they were able to move the ball forward a smidge.
Yeah, again, just kind of doing the same thing Lewiston's been doing, where you just outflank them. You just have kind of that old school wing T look, and you just kind of get some blockers at the edge, and you just try and run around them.
4 wide receivers in the set this time. Pettit, once again, looks to the sideline to get the call. Lewiston with 4 down linemen this side of things, and then man-to-man coverage over the top. Pettit takes the snap, looking, and he's brought down in the backfield. The first sack of the night for the Bengals front, and they got there quickly.
Yeah, you know, I went with the pass. I thought he had it, but he clutched it, and then that defense was right there. They weren't guessing that time. And now, like you said, this kind of puts Sandpoint in a little bit of a hole, and now they're going to have to go for it, which they're obviously going to go on 4th down anyway, probably in this situation anyway. But the clock is running. We're almost out of this quarter.
We'll see if they wait for the quarter to end or they get one more play in. Here we go. 3rd and 13 from the 42. It's going to be a wide receiver pass play. They get it over the top, but Lewiston was ready for it, and it was almost intercepted by Jared Jelinek. You know, that was a close call right there, and that would have been the end of that drive.
Yeah, and that's one that, bummer, you kind of thought maybe Lewiston would be guessing right at the end of the quarter, but instead you're just thankful to get to the quarter with the ball. 4th down and long when we come back.
4th down and long when we come back. That's right. Couldn't have said it better myself. The score at the end of the first, Lewiston 13, Sandpoint nothing. We'll be right back after these short messages.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lewiston, Idaho, here in District 2. Game night on the Palouse brought to you by P1FCU. And Lewiston, they have a 13-0 lead, and Sandpoint's facing a 4th and 13. Once again, I'm Garrison Hardy, joined in the booth, as always, by Jason Hansen. And Jason, Sandpoint's kind of got a tough play here in front of them, as they still may as well go for it at this point.
Yeah, I would imagine they may have set something up here, because now they've removed a defender because, in the past they've punted out of this formation, so they may be able to take advantage of it right here.
Braden Rice back deep to receive. They are going to punt it, and they're going to try to pin them deep in their own territory, and it's a muff punt! And there's a scramble for the ball. Let's see who finished it.
Oh. And now we really got a question going on. We got a pile down there. No arm yet by any of the officials pointing which direction. Now they're talking about it. Let's get it on the Jumbotron, see if we can get
Jordan Bramlett.
And they say it was recovered by Lewiston. That was number 8, Jordan Bramlett, who came to the rescue to get onto that ball.
Boy, that was almost a big opportunity by Sandpoint right there to change the direction of the game. Either way, that was a much better punt and punt execution right there by Sandpoint, pushing Lewiston back towards their goal. See if maybe they can use this field position as Sandpoint's defense starts to dig in.
And Coach Pancari gave Bramlett a pat on the head there after that play. And Hottinger just had to get rid of that ball quickly as he was hammered in the end zone, and that was looking like it could have been a safety. And now we've got a flag here, some extracurriculars.
Flag on the play.
Well, and we do have, as we mentioned, this is a great rivalry. It's non-league. It's kind of the better of the District 1 versus the best of District 2, and so it's one of those where emotions can run high. You're right. It looked like that defender was bearing down on him in the end zone, and looks like somebody might have got caught with something here.
And that is going to be unsportsmanlike conduct against Sandpoint. So there was a shove at the end of that play by one of their defensive linemen, and he heard it from the sideline, that's for sure, and he is now on the bench. That's tough. You know what? We've all been there as players where we make a mistake and then you got to go sit in it a little bit on the sideline.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Sandpoint, you kind of let Lewiston out of the shadow of your end zone there.
1st and 10 now with some breathing room. Ball is spotted outside the 15-yard line, and they're going to have a little dump off here. And this is going to get to the 25-yard line. That was caught by number 14, Rylan Gomez, who's able to pick up about 5 yards.
That's a great job by the defense right there, but unfortunately for the Sandpoint, you're giving up a lot of yards right there by letting them kind of cushion themselves, and then you rally up to the ball, which is great long term, but short term it almost was a first down.
3 wide receivers on the far side for the Bengals as Hottinger's got to step up into the pocket, gets rid of it to Latham, who's got 3 defenders in front of him. He tries to make something out of nothing, and he does. He's pushed into the sideline on Sandpoint's side, but he got the first down and then some.
Yeah, it looked like Hottinger was in a little bit of a pickle there with all that defense around him. He was able to get it out to the edge, and like you said, that receiver just was able to out-leverage the 3 defenders out there and gets the first down.
It's going to be 1st and 10 now. Ball is spotted at the 34-yard line, and that's going to be Jelinek on a reverse here. He tries to get to the outside. Good contain, though, and he's brought down at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, nice job this time by the Sandpoint's front 7 of making sure that you don't get too fooled by all that misdirection. Like you said, it was a reverse and misdirection and this, that, and the other stuff going on, and not much time to look at it. But they were able to rally up and get it stopped pretty quick.
2nd and 5 after the pickup there from Jelinek. And they go to Ricard at this time up the middle, who lowers the shoulder, runs into the teeth of the defense, but drags them with him. My goodness, Ricard, he is tough to bring down.
Yeah, and he's getting some pats on the back from the offensive lineman there. It looks like he's fixing his shoe.
Yep, he rumbled and bumbled his way to a first down, and he has been tough to deal with up the middle against Sandpoint.
And all the Lewiston players are saying, come on, buddy, we got to go. It's go, not get your shoe on.
1st and 10 here, ball from the 46. And Hottinger fakes it to Ricard, keeps it himself up the middle, and he's nearly brought down. He spins out of 2 tackles, and he's finally brought down inside the 40. What a run there from Hottinger.
Yeah, nice job by the quarterback. Again, we talked about keeping the defense guessing. This time he just hits the spin button about 4 times in a row. Just make sure you always get that ball security, because that's sometimes when it goes flying.
We've got 4 receivers to the far side, 5 with Ricard. They fake to Ricard. They go over the top. Is Hottinger to one of his favorite targets. It's caught inside the 10. Touchdown, Bengals. That was number 88, Austin Lawrence.
Well, they did a nice job of lulling them with all that run play, misdirection, quarterback keeper, and then they just go ahead and, like you said, they overloaded it with those 4 receivers, and then Ricard goes behind him, which might be a screen. Everybody kind of runs up, and they throw over the top of it. Sandpoint's over there kind of guessing, and I'm sure they'll have something dialed up here because, they're digging a little bit deeper hole here, so they got to have some go-to plays to come back with.
Number 21, Jackson Latham, set to kick, and the kick is up. And good. Good snap, good hold. It looks like they've got it figured out after that first snafu. And Lewiston leads 20-0. We're going to keep it right here, folks, and we want to thank, or just remind you guys, rather, that our army of Idaho sports action photographers are covering games all over the state. We've revamped our galleries to make it even easier to find and order your favorite action shots. Just go to IdahoSports.com and click Action Photos in the menu. Now, Jason, it seems as though we've got the go-go offense with Lewiston, which is going to do its thing. On the other side, we've got Sandpoint's offense, which has been a little bit more conservative, and it almost worked out for them on that side of the field. They were able to get that muff punt, but things just didn't pan out, and Lewiston was able to capitalize.
Well, and you hate excuses or any of that stuff, but it's one of those where we talked about their schedule, a little bit herky-jerky. They had 2 games early on against some well-prepared teams. Then they have a bye week. Then they have a cancellation game, and then they played last week. And so Lewiston has played every week, and so they're just kind of rolling with that momentum. As much as Lewiston is go-go, that also means, kind of like an old Mike Leach offense, you're going to have opportunities late in the game. You just got to play the long game, and Sandpoint's, Coach Knowles knows his dudes, and like you said, we have that run game that we haven't quite seen come alive yet, and we've also seen Parker Pettit put the ball in the air in the past, and it's just a matter of them finding the right spots. And again, this Lewiston kicking game has been spot on, keeping them deep and giving them really bad field position from the start.
So Kyson Barton once again on the field for the third or fourth time now, and he's going to send this one deep. And he kicks it once again to his favorite target. That's Bohannon. Takes it inside the 5. He tries to get to the far side of the field, but he's spun down. He's going to mark him at the 20. And Lewiston's kickoff coverage has been excellent this game. They've kept him inside the 20 almost every kick.
Yeah, you stole my thing. And not only is it a great kick game, but also that coverage team doing a nice job of keeping him corralled. Sometimes those guys will come up in and then bend it to the outside and race you down the sidelines. But Sandpoint's have been pretty bottled up so far.
So 1st and 10 on the 22. So Sandpoint did get outside of the 20 this time. And they're going to start things off here. 9:34 to go in the first half. Lewiston 20, Sandpoint nothing. Pistol formation once again for the Bulldogs. We'll see if they start things off with a run up the middle. And they may change the play here. And they go up the middle once again. And that's Hughes, who's bottled up by the teeth of that Lewiston defense. And it's a mosh pit in there.
Yeah, mosh pit.
We got to check if he's still alive, Jason.
Well, and it's one of those where Hughes is probably thinking, yeah, just keep me alive. The offensive line just keeps kind of pushing, and maybe almost broke out of that. You got to make sure, though, you squeeze that ball. You don't want Lewiston guys poking at it, and then it ends up on the dirt.
2nd and 7 now. Call it 2nd and 6. Gain of 4 on the play. Once again, shotgun set for the Bulldogs. Man-to-man coverage on the outside. Petty rolls to his left. He's got to throw it over the top, and it's caught! Sandpoint is on the move as that was brought in by Hunter Garcia.
Well, Garcia did a nice job of just finding that route and finding that spot that's just open and green, and Parker Pettit just staying on the same page. Good job by that offensive line. We've seen that defensive line giving Parker Pettit some trouble. This time he had plenty of time to roll out, set his feet, and get a nice ball out there.
So it's going to be 1st and 10, mark it at the 40. Pettit in the gun. Takes the snap, and he's going to hand this one off to number 18. That's Brewster. He tried to get to the outside, but good containment there from the Bengals.
Well, it is good containment, but that's better yardage on the last couple of run plays than we've seen for Sandpoint. So slowly but surely starting to build up some momentum with their run game.
2nd and 5, we'll call it. So, as Jason mentioned, a much better run there and much better staying on schedule, as it were. 3 wide receivers to the near side of the field. Pettit keeps it. He goes back to the far near side of the field, rather, to get to the Garcia. They almost stripped the ball clean was Bramlett. They're still trying to strip it, and he is able to hold on to the ball as Garcia close to the first down marker.
Woo, Parker Pettit's cool hand Luke out there. He threw that screen practically right into where the defense was, and so he didn't have much time to secure that, and the tacklers are right there. But they do get some positive gain out of it, and again, more on schedule with what Sandpoint's looking for here with this 3rd and very short.
3rd and short. Ball is at the 33-yard line. And they go right up the middle, and it looks like Pettit kept the ball himself, though, and he may be short. We'll see where they spot this.
Yeah, you hate to second guess, but it's one of those where he used the running back as a lead block, but it looked like he was going to get the first down easy. But it looks like they're short, like you said, with the chains across the way, no measurement yet. Everybody's packed in here with an important 4th and short.
If Sandpoint gets the first here, that'll be against a tough Lewiston front 7. Pettit tries to get them to jump off sides. Now he's looking back to the sideline. We'll see what they can do here in this power formation. Lewiston bringing the heat. And they hand it right up the middle this time, and they've got the first down. So they kept it simple on that one.
Yeah, and again, just one of those where their momentum is starting to show. Coach Knowles' crew over there showing some experience, showing that personality of, okay, we're playing the long game. Let's just get a good drive going and get some points.
So 1st and 10 now after the 4th down conversion. That's their first 4th down conversion of the night. And here they go back to that power formation. Lewiston, they pack in around on the edges. And they fake the sweep, go right up the middle, and Lewiston was all ready for it.
Well, not to take anything from Lewiston there, but it looked like they were ready for that. But the 2 running backs that were flaring to the different sides, if they would have gotten the ball, it looked like that might have been a big home run hitter. So look for that to show up here pretty soon with some maybe a give or a delay. And then these plays generally have a pass component as well. So if you get everybody sucked up to the line like that, you're kind of baiting them into a throw over top.
2nd and 11 after the loss there. And once again, they're in that power set. Pettit rolling to his right. And it's intercepted! Picked off by number 22 for Lewiston. Let me find his name here. That's Colby Weeks. And just some momentum was going for Sandpoint, and now it's gone, but there was a flag. We'll see what the call is here.
Well, and sometimes when you get some momentum going like that, you get just a tiny bit greedy, and instead of doing what the play's giving you, you start to play the way you want it to be. And so, like you said, it ends up with the defense here, but this penalty might be a change of possession. We got guys running in and out, so we got about 22 Lewiston guys in a huddle over there for Sandpoint. So we got to everybody go on the field.
It looks as though it's going to be Sandpoint ball here. Let's see what the call is. So it looks as though intentional grounding, but they're saying it's again. They're saying it was roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer, right? Yep.
So that is against Lewiston, and Sandpoint makes their way back onto the field. They get off scot-free.
Well, and you just got to get the nerves calm back down, and like we said, Parker Pettit and that crew has been in this situation. His running backs are doing a nice job of picking up those yards. And now you just want to keep on chewing up. You don't need to worry about time yet, but you just need to make sure you get some points here.
So 1st and 10 after the roughing the passer penalty against the Bengals. Ball is spotted at the 15-yard line. First red zone trip of the night for the Bulldogs. Lewiston, 4 down linemen. And the play is blown dead. False start against the Bulldogs, and that's going to back them up 5.
Flag on the play, and that's a false start on the Bulldogs.
It looked like there were some people out here on the edge kind of leaning. You know, everybody's trying to think, okay, I got to get my block. We got to get some points here, just like the guy on the TV said, and then pretty soon you have a false start, and now you're going to put yourself in a pickle.
So 1st and 15 after the 5-yard penalty. Ball spotted at the 20 now, and they are out of the red zone. No, kidding. 4 wide receivers this time around. Pistol set once again for the Bulldogs. Lewiston showing some motion on that defensive front. Pettit, he goes to the near side, quick out route, and Garcia is brought down, and that gets another pickup of 5 there. So that gets him back to the 15, the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that's a nice little pickup. Receiver willing to go down and get it, so that way you get the reception. Obviously, if the ball would have been a little higher, I think you would have gotten some nice gain, but he still got him a good little chunk right there on that reception.
So back to 2nd and 10 now. Pistol set, and that's Hughes in the backfield. 3 receivers in the set. They fake it to Hughes. Pettit tries to get to the outside. He can't. Great containment. Has to go right back into the middle. And he is going to be stopped after a minimal gain. That Lewiston defensive front is just tough to fool.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he could have gotten out to the far side of the field. But the edge rushers are going to be right there. And then instead, like you said, he has to kind of lower his shoulder and head back into the teeth of the defense. And that's no place that you want to be, especially as a quarterback thinking, no thanks.
Just leave my arms alone.
That's right.
3rd and 9. Pettit, 4 receivers in the set. Lewiston showing pressure from the linebacker position. Man-to-man coverage on the far side. Safeties over the top. Pettit takes the snap. He's got 4 receivers downfield. Now 5 of the running back in there. There's your man, Jason. Robert Storm gets the sack.
Robert Storm just kind of walked his offensive lineman all the way back to Parker Pettit's feet and then grabbed both of them. I thought maybe he's going to get a sack and a tackle on the offensive lineman. And like you said, that at the same time, the back end, the the defensive backs were doing a nice job of covering their dudes really well, and there just wasn't anywhere to go with the ball.
Now, for you fans at home, Sandpoint is holding the boards up on the side of the field, similar to what Oregon used to do with Chip Kelly. Now Pettit back to pass for 4th and long. Throws a post route over the middle, and it's incomplete there, and there's a flag. What's the call here? It looked as though that could have been some pass interference there, but then it also looked like maybe the Sandpoint player said something. Well, was the ball catchable is my question.
Well, and if it was a little bit of a bump, it's kind of hard to know, and generally that goes to the offensive player. And those of you who have been watching Saturday and Sunday ball, this does not get placed at the 2-yard line. This actually is just from the line of scrimmage.
So the Bulldogs have brought their kicking team out on the field, but we'll see what the call is. Pass interference on the defense.
The call is pass interference on the Bengals.
But it looked as though they still marked it as 4th down. So it is going to be 4th, and we'll see if the Bulldogs can get 3 on the board here. Set to kick for Sandpoint. That's number 1, Luke Burdick, the junior kicker. And he had to stutter step there and still sends that deep through the uprights. That could have been good for another 10 yards back. That kid's got a leg.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Sandpoint's on the board. It's not necessarily exactly what they were looking for, but you broke that 0, and really one of those things where they had a lot of good stuff going on offense that they can build on in the next series. And we're almost to halftime with 3:15 left in the second quarter. So we've seen Lewiston put up a lot of yards and points really quickly. So it's going to be important for Sandpoint's defense to still rise up and finish this half before you think about what you might be drinking at halftime.
Now, one thing to mention that I think Sandpoint could take as a win here is we've seen this Lewiston team come out and put up 40-plus in a half. So their defense has made Lewiston work for it to get all the way down the field.
Yes, and that's definitely one of those things that they're going to want to do here and try and make Lewiston burn up the rest of this half if they can't get a stop and get the ball back.
So back deep to receive for the first time tonight for the Bengals is Jared Jelinek. He's got his feet set at the 10-yard line, and Braden Rice, his counterpart, also at the 10-yard line. And set to kick things off for the Bulldogs is Purdick. We just saw him drill what looked to be around a 30 or so yard field goal to make the score 20-3 in favor of Lewiston here with 3 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half. And it looks like they could try to fake an onside here the way they're lining up.
Well, Lewiston looks like they're thinking that as well because they kind of got people bunched up.
Not this time, though. Purdick sends it deep. That's taken at the 5 by Jared Jelinek, who gets out to the 15. He's out at the 20, and he is hammered and brought down at the 24-yard line. They sandwiched him on that one. Lewiston, they get ready to come out and start.
Well, and we talked about Lewiston's kick cover team, and that was Sandpoint's kick cover team doing a nice job as well. Just getting that ball kicked deep and everybody rally up and get him down as quick as you can because there's so many athletes out there for both teams. Any of these can go to the house.
So 1st and 10 for the Bengals. And they start this drive at the 24-yard line. 23, we'll call it. Motion. That's Honninger that went in motion. So they've got Ricard coming out of the backfield. He lowers the shoulder and he just keeps going. He is a tank, and he picks up 14 to 15 yards.
Yeah, we haven't seen Lewiston in a couple of weeks, and I haven't seen that wrinkle. And that's a different wrinkle when your quarterback goes out there to be a receiver. And like you said, the tank, the tight end who can throw, runs the ball for a big, nice chunk.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 now. Ball's on the 39-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the far side. Honninger, that's Ricard actually, gets it to James White at midfield, and he's brought down inside the 45-yard line. That was Ricard.
Yeah, again, just doing a little bit of everything, and you wonder if, because so many people watch film, what are they setting up with some of this, whether it be a double throw or some of those things. Not this week, but as Lewiston heads into the heart of their league schedule, they want to have some stuff on film that people have to guess about.
Is this Taysom Hill in the backfield? Oh, Ricard goes in motion. And it's Honninger who keeps it. He fakes like he's going to the outside, but he keeps it up the middle, and he's able to pick up another solid gain there. And right now it just seems as this Bulldog defense just isn't sure where the ball is going to be going, which this Lewiston offense can be very deceptive.
It can be deceptive when you have one quarterback back there, and now you have 2 of them, plus all the running backs that we've talked about hitting them in all different ways, and then both quarterbacks can actually throw. It just makes you pretty multidimensional.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Lewiston in control and inside their own 45 now as Lathan gets to the outside, gets to the sideline, cuts it back in, inside the 20 and brought down inside the 15. Lewiston is just chunking the Bulldogs right now.
Yeah, and we talked about that. You can see the clock in the background that they started this drive with 3:15 on the clock, and we're still with a minute and a half left, and they just now ran it with a traditional running back.
2nd and 2, ball on the 13, and they go to James White on the sweep. He's trying to get to the outside, stiff arms a defender. He's inside the 5, and he's got a touchdown. James White, Mr. Reliable, punches it in for another 6.
Well, and not only do they do all kinds of different multi-dimensional things, but also the receivers and the running backs are all blocking for each other because they want to have those blocks when they get the ball. So, again, just that team concept that Coach Pancari's got to be really happy with going on right now.
So 26-3, Jackson Lakeland set to attempt another PAT. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is no good. It looks as though that was wide left, and the Buffalo Bills fans everywhere just had PTSD.
Well, and it just looks like there's just a little bit of a hiccup between the snap and the hold, and then when the kicker is going to start his approach. And so, my name may be Jason Hansen, but I don't know that much about kicking.
Jason Hansen, of course, referencing the great Detroit Lions kicker and former Washington State Coug. Jason Hansen holds the all-time record for the Detroit Lions, I believe, in points scored.
Yeah, and not this one because I might
throw out your
not that I wouldn't want to be here doing this, but a little bit different pay grade.
That's right.
But, with a minute and 27 seconds left in this half, Sandpoint's going to want to not get super fancy with what they want to do as far as, two or three trick plays, but they definitely want to be able to lean on something that they feel like they can go into halftime with some momentum that they can really build on in the second half.
Minute 27 to go here. And back deep to receive, as always, for Sandpoint is number 8, Joe Bohannick, and number, I believe that's 19, Eli Alshouse. And then set to kick for Lewiston is number 49, that is Kyson Barden.
Once again, doing the kicking for the Bengals.
And Barden sends this one deep down the middle. That's Bohannick. Once again, he takes it at the 5. And he gets past one tackler. And he's still on his feet. And he is finally brought down, this time at the 35-yard line. And there is the best return of the night for the Bulldogs.
Well, and those are the kind of hidden yards that Sandpoint's going to want to keep building on. Obviously, you don't want to do too many more kick returns, but being able to get those hidden yards and getting a free first down by just getting a great return.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 35-yard line now. 1:16 to go, and that's what the Bulldogs have to work with to get 65 yards of green. Shotgun set here. 4 wide receivers, 2 on each side, 1 back in the backfield. Lewiston with 4 down linemen, and man-to-man coverage on the outside as Pettit rolls to his left. Throws an out route to Hunter Garcia, and it's incomplete. It was a great route. Hit him on the hands. Good throw, but a tough sideline catch.
Yeah, just a smidge off. That would have been a nice big chunk that Sandpoint could really have gotten the ball at midfield with plenty of time. But again, just a half a step, just 2 feet too long.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion from Pettit to Garcia. Ball still at the 35-yard line. And we got trips to the near side of the field, bunched together at the very edge of the line of scrimmage. Could run a reverse here. And they fake the reverse. And they're looking. It's a post route over the top, wide open, and it's caught inside the 25-yard line, down at the 20. Excellent play call there, and a great catch from number 17, Connor Hinberg.
Yeah, nice job. Nice play call. They must have set it up just like you were thinking, okay, here comes the reverse play, and instead they build off of that fake reverse to the throw, and now they're in great field position as Lewiston calls timeout with 1:01 seconds left.
So this would be a big score here for the Bulldogs to get themselves back within striking distance as we approach halftime. And as we approach halftime, I want to take a moment to once again talk to you guys about our prepcasts. Always entertaining and occasionally controversial. The IdahoSports.com prepcasts cover every inch of Idaho, hosted by your host, Brandon Bainey. Each prepcast features one of our in-house experts, like Jason and I, talking about what's going on in your part of the state. We're up here in District 2. Just go to IdahoSports.com and click Prepcasts in the menu to get caught up on what you've been missing, and you'll want to check out I believe it's the Northern Prepcast, hosted by Brandon Bainey.
With Skaggs as his
that's right,
his sidekick, if you will. And this is exactly what Sandpoint was hoping to do with the time that they had allotted. They got a couple big chunks. They got Lewiston guessing. They made him call a timeout. Now you just got to get some points out of this possession.
1:01 to do so. And another thing to consider is maybe to run the clock a little bit. Don't strike too quickly now, because Lewiston could go right back down the field. 1st and 10. Ball's on the 16. Pettit. He's going to keep it himself, tries to bounce it to the outside. He's got a block in front of him. Can't get quite to the sideline, but he's spun down out around the 10-yard line.
We had talked about how Lewiston does a nice job of blocking for each other, and that picks up those extra yards. This time, Sandpoint did the same thing.
And the timeout was called on the field.
So timeout on the field, timeout taken by Sandpoint. They want to talk things over, and they've got 2 remaining.
When you mentioned he didn't get out of bounds, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, but he didn't get out of bounds, and so he was trying to. Lewiston knew that, kept him in bounds. That's why you need those timeouts in this position.
So 52 seconds remaining. And, hey, did you get your Gridiron game picks in this week? How about you, Jason?
I did not.
Oh, geez. Well, me neither. Compete every week against other high school sports fans and the so-called experts like Jason and I at IdahoSports.com for free. Win weekly prizes and the chance to be crowned the regular season picks champion. It's okay if you start now, because weekly winners get $25. If you're the regular season grand champion, you win $100. It's a pretty good prize. And a $250 donation will be given in your name to your favorite Idaho high school athletic program. Best of all, it only costs $5,000 to enter. No, I'm kidding. It's free to play. It's free. IdahoSports.com. Go check it out. So it's going to be 2nd and 5 now after the timeout from Sandpoint, and officials just making sure they've got everything in order. Ball is on the 11-yard line. 4 receivers in the set, as is custom for Sandpoint. Motion from the near side. Pettit keeps it himself, tries to get to the outside. He's got the option to throw it, gets just past him, and he's upended. It's a touchdown! What an athletic play there from Pettit, the quarterback.
Excellent job. Just like we talked about, they were getting some momentum going. They had some great blocking going on by the outside guys. That number 10, I'm sorry, I'm getting the roster out of my pocket here, that number 10, it looked like Ari Vandenberg, who was kind of that hatchback that came across, kind of led him to the goal line. So nice job right there. We talked about him being a receiver. This time he was just that lead block, and pretty soon Pettit gets himself into the end zone.
And Luke Purdick set to kick. High snap, but this is an even higher kick. That is up into the stratosphere, and it's good through the uprights, and that's going to make the score 26-10 in favor of the Bengals. And now Lewiston still has 41 seconds to work with, but suddenly Sandpoint's made this a ball game, Jason.
Well, and that's that playing the long game we talked about with Coach Knowles' crew. It sometimes feels demoralizing on one possession. Things didn't go the way you wanted, this, that, and the other stuff. You threw an interception. But by playing the long game, all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, here we go. And it's just kind of a side note. I love it here at Lewiston when you kick the direction that we just saw. You actually kick it into the street, so now all the traffic stopped, and the crossing guard policeman out there is helping the players get the ball where they need to be. So Sandpoint's got 41 seconds. Like you mentioned, they needed to play good defense and good special teams here because we've seen them, Lewiston being the them here, score real quick.
And it appears as though Lewiston's thinking there's going to be an onside kick. And Braden Rice is the only Bengal back deep to receive inside the 20. So we'll see what Sandpoint has up their sleeve here. But my money's on sending it deep.
Me too, but you don't want to get stung by something like an onside in this situation, and then you're really losing momentum.
So Purdick is set to kick. And it's blown dead, but it would have been a great kick. It's all the way back inside the 5, and we've got a penalty flag here on the near side of the field. We have had offside, but it was closer to the Lewiston side of things. And we also got a flag back and around where the ball was kicked, over towards the 20-yard line. So here's the call. So it looks like it was an illegal procedure there from the Bulldogs.
Well, it looked like somebody might have jumped the gun here a little bit. Like you said, it looked like it was going to be a deep kick anyway, not an onside. But everybody wanted to race down there and make the most of it. Lewiston checked out of their onside look, their hands team, if you will, and have gone back to more of their traditional look.
So first and Nope, I've said 1st and 10 because that's on the scoreboard, but they're not ready there yet. Just one of the bloopers here at IdahoSports.com. By the way, you can get access to our blooper reel by going... No, I'm kidding. Can't do that. So 41 seconds left here, and we are now set to kick. Once again, we'll see if Purdick just puts his boot through it. And he does. This one's going to be drilled inside the 10. Picked up by Jelinek. He's out past the 15. Cuts upside. He's inside the 30, and he's finally brought down. If he would have broken through that last hole there, he could have had the sideline.
Yeah, and after you've kind of, as a kicking team, once you have kind of already rushed away from the spot right there and you have to come back and do it again, sometimes there's a danger of doing just what you're talking about. You create a gap by not keeping your contained lanes, and now Sandpoint has to play defense in this situation because Lewiston can score quick. We just saw it.
1st and 10. Hottinger, he's going to pitch it at the last second to Jelinek, who gets out of bounds after a very short pickup. Tough to get the sideline there on the near side of the field.
Ball is run, number 11 for the Bengals.
But he does get out of bounds, which does stop the clock. Even though they do like to go fast, it means at least you can decide how fast you want that thing to burn.
29 seconds, 2nd and 8. Ball's on the 35. Hottinger gets it to the far side of the field to one of his favorite targets. That is number 88.
Reception goes to number
Austin
88,
Lawrence on the reception.
That'll bring us a Bengals 1st down.
So 1st and 10 after the reception there, and the chains are on the move, which means the clock stopped as well, although now it's down inside 15. Hottinger, he's looking deep. He's got to get out of the pocket. Still looking, finally gets rid of it to Jelinek, who's brought down in bounds, and that could be the end of the half. We'll see if they got the timeout. It's kind of a hectic play there, but nonetheless, it looks as though they're going to have 1 second remaining.
Field goal for a gain of about 2.
Well, it was a little bit of a hectic play. I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication by the Lewiston side or, kids just making plays like, okay, let's just go out there and play a little backyard football. Sandpoint does a nice job of rallying up, not getting really fooled or duped into anything. And I'm sure the coaches are saying, okay, there's 1 second left. Make sure that there's no defensive penalty. We just got to tackle them in bounds, keep them out of the end zone, and this thing is at halftime.
Now the question is, does Barden have the leg? No, I'm kidding. Are we looking at a Seahawks and Broncos scenario here?
Too soon. Too soon for the Seahawks or the Denver Bronco fans, rather.
I mean, you pay $240 million for that guy, and you don't even have him out there to throw the ball. But in any case, here we are in Lewiston, Idaho. Let's stay focused now. So ball is at the 50. Lewiston has got a really tall wide receiver in number 88. That is Austin Lawrence, standing at 6'5". So certainly a target to fling the ball up to. And he's on the far side of your screen, furthest away from the ball. And they're going to send motion. And it looks like they're setting up a wheel route on the far near side, rather. And that was Hottinger. And they were hoping that the Bulldogs would maybe fall asleep on that one, but to no avail. And Bulldogs get the stop, and that is the end of the first half here in Lewiston, Idaho, as the Lewiston Bengals lead the Sandpoint Bulldogs 26-10. You're watching IdahoSports.com here in District 2. We're going to take a short break, and they'll be right back here after these messages.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your
they can do.
Yeah, there's just a lot of different wrinkles they can use now. And Pottinger, coming out of the backfield on a wheel route all of a sudden. I mean,
Yeah.
And then Ricard, he's just so hard to tackle.
Right. Well, and it felt like a lot of times the running backs kind of got worn down because there wasn't very many of them. It felt like last year.
Right.
Was it Cruz Hepburn?
It was Hepburn, yeah.
I mean, his ankle got twisted or something, which was awesome. You have a feature back, but it's kind of hard
playoff
to.
time.
Yeah. When you need them most, they're all worn out.
Right. Just ran into a wall.
So.
Yeah. Always the question for me is, they can do fine up here, and what's it going to look like when they run into a Coeur d'Alene or one of the bigger guys?
Right, and that game's coming up, isn't it?
I think it's after our Moscow one, maybe.
Is that one down here?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, because I think we have. Because the 7th is the day you're off screwing around, right?
Yep.
So then we have these other two, right? Because we go Moscow and then those two.
Right.
Those should be killer games.
Yep.
Kind of pays back some of those years that
we got crap. Hey, you guys go to Erie and watch a 60-point drubbing and not have the press box.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. That's when I was starting to think last year,
yeah,
I'm done.
What are we doing?
$50 for this. But now with gas, I mean,
yeah.
You get $150 for the night. No.
I know. Well, it's got to be close because I got 75 to drive down. Well, 75 for driving down in the game.
Right.
So coming from Moscow might be just shy of $100. Not making a lot of money, but
yeah.
I was just gonna sit at home watch Netflix probably. So
right. Yeah, I've got. I haven't taken a paycheck yet from Idaho Sports, so the end of this month could actually be somewhat sizable.
Yeah.
Granted, you do most of the driving, so.
Nah. Well, even if it's just like when we link up and then we go somewhere, which we did most of the time, that's $75. So
right.
Just driving from Genesee to Moscow to Genesee is $25 from that IRS stuff. So the other piece, if the volleyball team, who's been struggling like crazy from G-Town, doesn't make it, the Giants play the Seahawks on what was supposed to be state volleyball weekend. So
sure.
I kind of positioned that during the Thursday night game. I said, Melissa, if they don't make it to the playoffs, we could go over to the game, couldn't we?
Yeah.
What money would we use? Well, I've been farting around on Fridays. Let's use it for football.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. Yeah, I've got a trip late October, 29th, 28th to the 30th down in Boise, but I'll probably be gone before then too.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be available that week.
Yeah, which is kind of a fluid anytime anyway.
Right. So I'm like, once the playoffs start coming, I may or may not be available. Sorry.
Well, a lot of times it feels like, hey, if it's in the dome, count me in.
Sure.
Coming down here when it's 20 degrees out and snowing.
No thanks.
We're all hunkered down.
Oh my gosh, that against Horseshoe Bend. Oh man. I'm just glad we could set it up barely.
Oh yeah.
There were pockets of water forming, having to push it off.
Yeah.
Okay, let's come back. Why not?
Okay.
No pressure.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Lewiston Marching Band. You're again looking live at Bengal Field here in Lewiston, Idaho, as the Lewiston Bengals have a 26-10 lead over the visiting Sandpoint Bulldogs. This is Garrison Hardy, joined once again by Jason Hansen. And Jason, that was an excellent first half for Lewiston.
It was a great first half for Lewiston, we saw a lot of things. The defense showed up. They played really well. They put a stop to that Sandpoint attack. We saw some special teams play where they did a nice job of doing kickoff rather, and keeping them all contained. And then on offense, they chunked some big yards and did some nice things we haven't really seen them do because we haven't seen them in a little while. And so all of a sudden they look really sharp midseason form, if you want to say that.
Now, one of the things we touched on in the first half was the addition of a new player for the Bengals. He's been playing this season, but he's been playing different roles because he's been dealing with injuries. That would be Lewiston's number 5, Chris Ricard. He had himself a first half.
He did, and it just adds a lot of diversification to what Lewiston wants to do. They want to go fast. They want to be multidimensional. They want to be misdirectional. And by having 2 quarterbacks back there doing all kinds of things, not only just being able to run the ball and hand the ball off, but also being able to throw it. But as we saw right at the end of the half right there, they tried to go quarterback to quarterback on a little bit of a wheel route. And, again, just kind of adds a whole bunch of life to what you're trying to do.
And on the other side, so it was mostly all Lewiston in that first half, but Sandpoint, they do go down the field and punch it into the end zone right in the final minute of the first half. That was a big score.
Yeah, and that's what Coach Knowles is thinking, okay, this is who we need to be. We need to be showing some moxie and showing some confidence as well. They're the team that's coming off of a just shy of a championship run, and so for them to come out and kind of get bopped around a little bit by Lewiston and then having the wherewithal to kind of put together a great drive and just chunk it down the field and get themselves in. We talked about it, Parker Pettit doing a nice job finding the end zone with a great block up there by Ari Vandenberg. And so, again, the score is feeling like, Lewiston kind of had a huge go of it, but Sandpoint really started to show a lot of aggression, showing a lot of moxie with the whole concept of coming back, and I'm thinking this half is going to be incredible.
Now, the thing that Sandpoint fans at home are thinking, oh boy, we've got to kick it back to that Lewiston offense to start things off. And now, if you're on the Sandpoint coaching staff, what are some things that you're telling your guys when it comes to dealing with this Lewiston attack? I mean, this is such a versatile offense.
Yeah, and we've seen them do a nice job of rally to the ball. There was a couple of drives there that stalled for Lewiston as well, and so they tended to give almost too much cushion and then try and rally up. I think maybe they could tighten that up a little bit, but Coach Knowles' his crew over there has a lot of gamemanship. They know their guys, and there may be a little bit of a twist here and a little bit of maybe a second level guy instead of putting everybody on the line of scrimmage, which we saw there. A lot of times they're rushing 3 and dropping 8, and then everybody's rallying up and making Lewiston kind of really earn every yard they possibly can get.
And then for Lewiston, Sandpoint, after they had a big drive to, as we mentioned, to punch it in the end zone before halftime, and that was set up large in part by a deep post route to Connor Hindberg. Out of the blue, the junior 6'1" wide receiver had a deep pass into the red zone. So from Lewiston's side of things, what are some things they should be keeping an eye on when it comes to dealing with a Sandpoint offense that it seems pretty traditional by and large, but then can hit you with a reversal, or they can suddenly switch sides of the field and throw a deep pass like that?
Yeah, and on top of that, they kind of showed that wing T look, that power look. I think for Lewiston, they need to come out. They get the ball first. They just need to load up and score again and really keep Sandpoint on their heels. And then defense will almost take care of itself because Sandpoint's going to have to be playing catch-up. They're going to have to be a little bit more one-dimensional. They won't be able to rely on all of the facets of their offense. And so I think Coach Pancari and his crew probably highlighting that and thinking, okay, we got to show dominance. We're the 5A school. We're the team that's really looking mid-season form. They can't just put together one half of football. They need to put together a complete game.
And, you and I have talked about this in games past for the Lewiston Bengals. Their offense is all about go. So when they have games where they just jump on another team early, it's sort of hard to let off the gas pedal a little bit, and that can result in kind of a mixed bag, if you will. Not necessarily a bad thing for Lewiston's offense, but it's not something that's necessarily predicated for.
Well, and I think that that may be also something that Coach Pancari's crew is going to be thinking about tonight. Like, okay, now we've established ourselves in midseason form. How do we improve on that, and how do we do a better job at some of those aspects? We've seen a lot of shifting. We've seen a lot of motion. That also kind of slows down the offense just a little bit. It keeps people moving. It keeps them with a rhythm, but it's also a way to kind of burn through some play clock or game clock that is kind of a hidden way to keep kids moving in what they normally do, but you're allowed to kind of do some things as a coach that kind of slows them down.
So 1:52 to go here just before half, and as we get ready to bring the action back to you live here from Lewiston, we're going to take a short break and thank some of our sponsors.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it, how to dream big, and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Lewiston, Idaho, as the Lewiston Bengals and the Sandpoint Bulldogs are getting set here for the second half. Lewiston leads 26-10 after, as Jason and I mentioned just before we took a short break there, very impressive half for the Lewiston Bengals. Now on the other side, the Sandpoint Bulldogs, they've got to kick it back to this offense to start the second half, so Lewiston could really put their print on this game.
Well, and we saw Lewiston being over-prepared for an onside kick. So I wonder if this is the time that maybe Lewiston has relaxed a little bit. Looks like they came out in a little bit more of their traditional kick return group. And so it'll be interesting to see if now is when you could sting them with something on this kickoff if you wanted to try an onside.
So Protect is set to kick things off once again for the Bulldogs. Back deep to receive is the duo of Braden Rice and number 11, Jared Jelinek. And here we go. Second half underway in Lewiston. And we've got almost looked like a miscommunication there as Rice takes the kickoff. He's out past the 20, lowers the shoulder, and he's finally brought down at the 25-yard line, and that's where Lewiston will start things off on the left hash.
Well, and that was a great cover team right there. Looked like he was going to be able to get himself up the sideline, but Sandpoint was having none of it.
So first and 10, ball on the 25. And Lewiston's go-go offense is set to kick things off here. Sandpoint comes out in a man-to-man coverage. And they hand it to James White, who tries to get to the outside, and Sandpoint was ready for it. The Bulldogs come out with some bite.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking for if you're a Sandpoint fan. We talked about that front seven on that team as well, and they were just ready and chomping, like you said, to get to the edge and put a stop to that. Let's bounce it to the outside and go down the sideline with all those blockers.
So after second and 14, we'll call it, after a loss of 4, and Sandpoint, they're coming out firing on all cylinders here. Honinger is going to send Ricard in motion. Honinger loses the ball. Sandpoint is in the backfield, and there's another loss of yards on the play after a fumbled snap.
Well, it looks like maybe Sandpoint went in and looked at the board of all of the plays that Lewiston was going to run, because they're right where they need to be. That front four, front three, those defensive linemen are just getting right in there and blowing up that offensive line we've been highlighting.
We'll call it 3rd and 20. Ball spotted inside the 20 for Lewiston. And Heininger is going to be a screen play on the far side of the field. Offensive line is out trying to block for Jackson Lincoln, and he's only able to get about half of what he needed to the first down sticks. But still, good play design, and it's going to be 4th and about 5.
Yeah, and we've seen that play go for the first down, but this time they were able to corral it. Now it's going to be, do you kick it in this situation on 4th and 5?
And it looks like the Bengals are checking it out, or at least trying to get Sandpoint to jump off sides. We've seen that before. Jason, you and I have called numerous games where that happened. Heininger, he takes a step back, and he's just going to send this one away over the head of the farthest back Bulldog. That was number 18 for Sandpoint, Cody Brewster. He's not going to get the return, and Sandpoint will start things off inside their own 30. But Jason, a great first stand for Sandpoint. That's just what they needed.
Yeah, and that go-go offense kind of was sputtering a little bit, so now it didn't use up much clock, and you get the ball back, and so it's almost as if you ended up with the kickoff at halftime.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 25. So they just a good switch of field there on the punt from Heininger. And Pettit, the other number 9, takes the snap, and he's going to hand this one off the middle to Hughes. A nice draw play there, and Hughes pushes his way forward for a gain of 5. So that was a much better push than we were used to seeing in the first half from Sandpoint.
Yeah, and we saw that late in the first half, like you mentioned, that they were getting bottled up pretty quick, and slowly but surely they were getting 4 or 5 yards at a carry. And that's pretty good sledding when you're going up in the teeth of that defensive line right next to Robert Storm, and you still get 5 yards.
2nd and 5 now after the carry from Hughes. Shotgun set. 4 wide receivers, and they hand it to Hughes up the middle once again. He had another good push, and that 2 plays and a first down and a cloud of dust for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, nice job by the offensive line from Sandpoint, just double teaming on Storm. We highlighted him in the pregame as kind of somebody we've seen wreak some havoc. He already had a sack early in the first half, and now they're just getting a double team on him and trying to get the linebackers eventually, but getting those first 5 yards is a great way to get going.
1st and 10, ball spotted at the 38-yard line.
Hard to go when the chain crews struggle. Looked like they were a little mixed up as to something over there with the chain.
The chain gang got their chains tangled. It's going to be 1st and 10 after a 13-yard run for the first down. Pettit takes the snap. He's looking deep. It's a post route to Garcia. It's tipped in right into the hands of, that is number 7 for Lewiston. We'll call that number Briggs Duman on the interception. And Jason, we've seen him do that before.
Yeah, and that's a rough deal right there. Sandpoint had gotten this stuff going. They'd set up a nice pass play. Unfortunately, it bounces off the receiver's hands, which is sometimes the case, and Lewiston was very opportunistic right there. Good job just being right where he needed to be and having the wherewithal to catch it. And then now Lewiston's back in business with the momentum.
1st and 10, ball on the 35-yard line after the interception from Duman. And Heininger hands it to, that's number 5. That's Chris Ricard, called his name plenty in the first half, but he's only able to pick up 1 there, so good rally from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, again, that defense from Sandpoint just stoning them right where they needed to be.
1-yard gain. Motion from James White. He had a touchdown in the first half. They faked the run to Ricard. Heininger. Ricard's got the ball. He was the quarterback on that one. You just never know who's going to line up back there.
Yeah, and they have all that misdirection and really a nice job by the defensive end right there. Just slow playing it, making the the quarterback hold on to it, and the running back standing right there as well, and they were able to get him stopped.
Heininger rolls left, and it's a comeback route, and that one's intercepted.
Anything you can do, I can do better. And he's heading in the right spot. Looks like there might be.
There is a flag down. We'll see what the call is. And suddenly Sandpoint goes from celebrating to seeing what's happening with the officials meeting.
Yeah, it looks like it was near the line of scrimmage, kind of in the area that might be a holding, whether it be on the receiver or on the defense. I'm sorry, the defensive, holding the receiver or on the offensive line against the defense. But
here's the call.
An eligible player downfield.
Against Lewiston.
Yeah, against Lewiston. So let's get back to celebrating over there for Sandpoint. You got the ball. Let's go. And great field position. Sorry, buddy. Yep. Great field position. I'm getting excited too. Got great field position. You're playing the long game here. You've given the ball up twice, 2 interceptions by the Sandpoint offense. But you just keep playing, and now you have a great situation right here.
And they're going to start this drive off, spotted at the 44-yard line for the Bulldogs. And that is going to be Pettit will lead his Bulldogs back onto the field. So the first turnovers of the night happen back-to-back. And this is seeming similar to our Clearwater game, Jason. Hughes goes up the middle off a quick handoff, and he's driven back. It's going to be a very small gain, if any.
Yeah, the defensive line and Elliott Taylor, the linebacker from Lewiston right there. Looks like both defenses have gone to more of a 3-man front maybe. But either way, it doesn't really matter. That's exactly what you're hoping for Lewiston. Okay, you got to get that momentum back, and the best way to do that is to get that run stopped.
Under 8 minutes to go, 2nd and 10, ball on the 44. Pettit in the pistol, motion from the far side. And he's going to fake it to Hughes. Pettit back to pass. He's going to step up into the pocket, keep it himself. He's out past the first down marker and inside the 30-yard line before being escorted out of bounds.
Excellent job by Parker Pettit right there, faking out the cameraman and the defense. There was nowhere to throw it, so if he'd have thrown it, it probably would have been another pick, back-to-back picks. And so he just go ahead and takes a scamper down the sideline and picks up that first down.
So first and 10, ball on the 30, 7:41 to go. Shotgun set here for the Bulldogs. Pettit takes the snap. He's going to roll left. Looking over the top, and he's going to go short instead. That is number 5. Frank. That's Max Frank, who was spun down on the tackle. We'll give the tackle to number 22, Colby Weeks.
Well, and even though it was kind of a short pass, it still ended up with a first down. And, again, you're just taking what the defense will give you, the old Hayden Fry, where you just got to get those little bit of chunks, and pretty soon they turn into big ones.
So fresh set of downs here for the Bulldogs, and they're in business as they are close to being inside the 20. Ball's on the 21. Pettit takes the snap, throws an out route to the far side of the field, and catch is made by Hunter Garcia. And there is a flag down near side at about the 20-yard line. And it looks like it was a false start.
Yeah, that's a rough go there, because that's kind of one of those drive stallers where they got that shifting going on, but it looks like the referees thought maybe they were going towards the line of scrimmage or wasn't quite set in the way that they should have been. But again, nice execution. You get nice protection from that offensive line for Sandpoint. You get your feet set. You get a nice ball to where it needs to be. Good, sure-handed catch by the Sandpoint player. And again, you're just kind of getting that flow going. Unfortunately, though, that penalty is going to push them back, and this might be what Lewiston's looking for on defense.
So it's going to be a 5-yard penalty and push them back to the 25-yard line. So 1st and 15. Under 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Pettit once again lined up in the pistol. Lewiston showing 3 down linemen and then 2 outside linebackers. 4 down linemen. Pressure being shown on the near side. And they bring it. Pettit gets rid of it. Good protection there. And that is caught on the far side of first down, almost a first down, rather, as he stepped out of bounds before he could hit the sideline. But nonetheless, good protection there from that offensive line.
Yeah, like you said, Lewiston went ahead and dialed up a little pressure, but that's going to cost you in coverage. And Sandpoint did a much better job of identifying who was blitzing and making sure that Pettis had a throwing lane and a way to step up to give a good, nice ball out there to the far side.
And Lewiston's defense has 2 sacks on the night, so by and large, Pettit has been kept clean. 2nd and 3 after a pickup of 7. Pressure being shown here from the Bengals as they have a packed-in box, and that's Pettit, drives forward, and it looks like he's past the first down in a rugby scrum, as it were.
Well, and again, Sandpoint's doing a nice job with their misdirection. That time, they kind of get that lead and jet sweep across, so the defense kind of stepped that way. That allowed Parker Pettit to kind of step up in there. Again, the offensive line from Sandpoint must have gotten some stuff corrected because they're doing a great job now making sure they have a running lane, and those runs are going for 5-6 yards at a time instead of 1 or 2.
So it's going to be 1st and goal now. So once again, Bulldogs are back in the red zone. Their only other attempt in the red zone, they ended up with a touchdown. So let's see what they dial up here. Shotgun look here. Hughes flanking Pettit in the backfield. Pettit rolls left. He's got a couple of targets, but they're well covered. He's got to roll back the other direction, and he's being met by some Lewiston defenders. He jukes inside. Let's see where they spot it. Touchdown! Pettit once again does it with his legs, and the Bulldogs cut this lead down to 10.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Sandpoint fans were looking for right there. That they were able to sustain some moments where things weren't going their way. They went ahead and just chunked it down the field, and then Pettit shows his moxie and kind of rolls out to the left, doesn't like what he has because the defense is everywhere, and then this time he just scampers himself down the sideline and finds pay dirt. Looks like we might be going for 2 out here because we got the offense.
Yeah, either way, if they get the 2, it's going to be an 8-point game. If they settled for the 1, that would be 9.
Looks like there was a flag on the play.
And we'll see what the... Suddenly it doesn't look like there's flag on the play.
I think maybe it was, it looks like there's something on the ground over there that's yellow, but it's not a flag. And you get to pick where you want it spotted, so they just moved it to the right hash, which allows the offense to roll out to the left here.
And Pettit rolling left, back of the end zone, and it's out of reach. His intended target there was number 5. That's Max Frank.
Yeah, and 3 defenders right there introduced themselves to Parker Pettit, which is not really what you want to do when you're the quarterback. You kind of eat 3 defenders as you throw a ball to the back of the end zone. But the main part was happening for Sandpoint. They got the ball in the end zone. They sustained some disappointment and closed that gap a little bit.
So now it's a 10-point lead. Still a 2-possession game for Lewiston. They've still got a cushion. But nonetheless, excellent drive there from Sandpoint. That ends in 6. And that makes our score 26-16 here in quarter number 3. As Lewiston's kick return team makes their way onto the field, so does the Bulldogs kick team.
Well, and admittedly, I have not watched the Bulldogs much this year, but it looks like there must have been something on film that Lewiston saw. They came out again in their normal return team, so I wonder if one of these times is the time to sting them, if you can, with an onside kick.
And maybe now is the time. 10-point lead. Lewiston doesn't seem to be as prepared or is expecting it as they have the last couple of times. Braden Rice and Jared Jelinek back deep to receive, and they're going to just send it deep straight to Jelinek, who takes it at the 9. Jelenek's at the 20. And he's brought down at the 24-yard line. Good kick return coverage there from the Bulldogs.
Well, and they were doing a nice job of bottling them up. I guess that's why you kick it deep. And really one of those things where sometimes by kicking an onside, you also are showing respect to the return guys, because we've seen those Lewiston guys scamper for big gains and return it for touchdowns in years past.
So Lewiston comes out set to hopefully have a better result on this drive, as they were forced to punt the ball away last time out. They're going to hand this one to Jackson Lathan, who's trying to get to the sideline, and he does, but he's still escorted out of bounds after a short pickup there. We'll call it a gain of about 4 or 5.
Yeah, so a little bit of a disappointing 5-yard gain. I air quote that, but it's really one of those situations where, again, just that misdirection, keeping people honest, Sandpoint having to play all the way from sideline to sideline.
So we'll call it a big gain of 6 there, 2nd and 4. James White goes in motion across, but Hottinger's just going to keep it himself. He lowers the shoulder, runs into the mush pit, and he is close to a first down. We'll see where they spot this. Looks like he's going to be past the first down sticks based on where the officials are standing. And by the way, the officials for tonight's game, Dan Davenport, Paul Elston, Jaden Goudry, Jay Minuti, and Ryan Lawrence.
Well, and they're doing a nice job of keeping the game moving, because sometimes you can get bogged down in the details. And again, Lewiston doing that misdirection, keeping Sandpoint guessing, and to pick up that easy first down.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 35 now. Lewiston moving. Hottinger gets it out to Jackson Lathan, who dodges a tackler, and he's brought down. Ball spotted at the 38-yard line after that carry. And a short pickup there, but they're moving forward, and here's the go-go offense.
Yeah, and this is where Lewiston's momentum just kind of getting you lulled into an offensive look where they run, and then pretty soon it'll be a pass over top.
And they try a sweep to James White, but he's brought down. Excellent containment there from the Bulldogs. Number 22, Weston Benefield.
Yeah, Benefield is well decorated at his linebacker spot, showing some moxie, some speed of his own to get White, who we've highlighted a number of times in number of different ways, stopped, corralled, and down.
Hottinger throws it to Jelinek. Jelinek gets a first down and more. Looks like he stayed in bounds, and he's brought down at the 45-yard line. A pickup of 20 off of just a little dump-off pass to Jared Jelinek.
Yeah, not only was that play designed by getting him kind of in some open space himself, but there was also White, and there was also number 4 from Lewiston, another good receiver that was down here helping him out. That was Braden Rice, where, again, those receivers just kind of helping each other out, making it more of a task for Sandpoint to get them down, because they have to fight through blocks the entire way.
So 1st and 10, ball's on the 44-yard line. Motion from Ricard out of the backfield. Goes into a hatchback set. They're going to hand this one to Lathan, who tries to bounce it to the outside. Good blocking on the edge. And he does get to the sideline and lowers the shoulder. And he's the one that's remaining standing close to the first down marker.
Well, and again, they're just setting up that Lewiston go-go offense, where they're just kind of chipping away, just doing a nice job, and again, bringing some pain out there on the edge.
So they're going to call this a 2nd and 1. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. And Hottinger has a nice corner route over the top, and it's incomplete. The intended target there was number 14, Rylan Gomez, and they weren't far off on that one.
No, that's true. And again, we just talked about how they get him going sideline to sideline. Everybody's flowing to the edges, or there's a run up the middle, and then pretty soon those defensive backs have got to cover way down to the goal line as well. So there's a lot of work to do by those defensive backs.
And it's going to be 3rd and 1 here. 3:50 to go here in the third quarter. 26-16, Lewiston leads. They're going to hand this one off to, they're going to fake it to Hottinger, rather. And Ricard keeps it himself. We'll see where they spot this. It looks close to the first down line to gain.
Looks like this time they were just a little bit short. Again, just having the flexibility of 2 quarterbacks in the backfield where which one's going to get it and which one's going to give it.
4th and 1. A ball on the 35-yard line. This would be a huge stop for Sandpoint. 3:20 to go. And it looks like they stuffed it. It's a loss of yards on the play. Ricard couldn't get it. What a stop there from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that was Benefield again with his buddy, number 31, Owen Wimmer, who was, also a well-decorated linebacker, doing a nice job right there. We've seen some of those plays where they're kind of chipping away, trying to outflank you. This time they just bum rush it, and they just get it down.
They knocked him 2 yards back, so that's where the Bulldogs will take the ball here. 1st and 10, ball on the 37-yard line. And they suddenly have a chance to cut this lead to 3 if they put 7 on the board.
Well, last time Sandpoint had the ball, they did a nice job of just kind of chunking it down the field at 5, 7, 8, 20 yards at a time.
Ball on the 37 here as Pettit takes the snap, drops back, being pressured, throws it over the middle. It's a post route, and he's into the secondary. He's at the 30, 25, 20, and spun down close to the 15-yard line. What a catch and run there from number 44, the running back, Joseph Hughes.
Well, and we've talked about how those guys are also being used in some motion, some formation. They're being used as blockers, and then all of a sudden one of them slips out. Nice job by Hughes showing his flexibility. We've seen him carry the ball. We've seen him do a nice job blocking. This time he just kind of slips out and gets that seam and picks up that huge gain for Sandpoint.
1st and 10. Ball's on the 17-yard line, 2:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Pettit takes the snap, fakes it to Hughes, keeps it himself. He's got a crease. Gets to the 2nd level, being pulled forward by his offensive linemen. And it's a scrum. He's still going and finally brought down close to the 1st down marker, gain of 8 or 9.
Well, a nice job there, just keeping your feet turning, right? Obviously, one side saying they're getting a little extra help, the other side saying he's just moving his feet. Either way, this is exactly what Sandpoint was hoping to do here as far as just getting some momentum going forward.
So 2:20 to go, 8-yard gain there, 2nd and 2, we'll call it. Ball on the 8, so Lewiston can still, Sandpoint can still get a 1st down here, and then it'll be a 1st and goal look. Knocking on the door here, another red zone opportunity for the Bulldogs as they hope to cut this to a 1-possession game. They go back to a power look. Lewiston, pressure being shown on all sides. They're going to hand this off to the edge, trying to get it to the outside. He busts through it into the end zone. Touchdown, Sandpoint.
That will be a touchdown for Sandpoint. Scored by number 5.
Well, and that's what we've talked about, where they're playing the long game. They came out with some disappointment on the first couple of drives. Lewiston was kind of picking them apart, but this time they just kind of slowly but surely chip away, do what they need to do, and kind of expose some weaknesses, and now they're taking advantage of that. Here comes that extra point kick here to kind of close the gap.
This kick here is being taken by Luke Purdick, the junior. He's got a leg on him, we know that.
Watch out, traffic, here it comes.
Here's the kick. It is up and through the uprights and good. It is now just a 3-point lead. 26-23, and nonetheless, momentum has certainly shifted here in this game.
It has, and it's a situation where we've talked about it being a good game. It looked like Lewiston kind of barged out really quick early on, and then slowly but surely Sandpoint's been able to kind of bulldoze their way back into this thing, and we mentioned it was going to be a great game to the finish, and sure enough, with just over 14 minutes left, we got ourselves a heck of a ball game.
So 2 minutes, 3 seconds to go, and folks, we've got a barn burner, much like what it was looking like in years past, where Sandpoint held on to win 42-41 the last time these two teams met, September 24th, 2021. And where are we at today? We're at September 23rd, almost a year to the day where these two programs met and played a game that, well, I wish I was there. 2:03 to go here, and we want to take a moment to remind you guys that, well, if I can find it here. Yeah, we make the memories last a lifetime by owning the digital game file of this game for just $9.95. Just click the button in the top right corner and order. And hey, you can follow IdahoSports.com on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get updates, breaking news, pictures, and more. Click on the icons in the top left to follow us now. And we had a Sandpoint player down, but he has dusted himself off and heading to the sideline to a round of applause here from the Bengal faithful. Always good to see.
Well, and it's getting to that point now where there's quite a few guys down in the Gatorade and getting the calf stretches. So a number of players from both teams have already been struggling through some cramps.
So Sandpoint out and ready to kick. That is the kicker, Luke Perdick. He's been perfect on PATs, and he's also nailed a 30-yard field goal. That is paying big dividends right now because they only trail by 3. And if they were able to tie it up with a field goal, or who knows. So 2:03 to go here in quarter number 3. Sandpoint set to kick. Back deep to receive, Braden Rice and number 11, Jared Jelinek. And they're going to go to Jelinek once again, who's going to take it inside the 10. Now past the 20. Cuts back once again, and he gets out past the 30, being brought down at the 33-yard line.
That's the dangers of kicking it deep to those great return guys, because pretty soon they get them almost to midfield. And Lewiston was able to show some momentum there with their offense, kind of getting misdirection, but they did stall out. So, especially with some of that inside run game. So, it'd be interesting to see, do they try and get back to the edge, or do they try and pound it again?
And they go to Jackson Latham out of the backfield, and he's able to pick up about 4 or 5 yards on just a quick pass to the running back out of the backfield.
Which, again, kind of forces that Sandpoint defense to run to the edges and make everybody rally up, and you just hope you can pick up enough yards in the meantime.
2nd and 6. They fake it to Latham. Hottinger keeps it himself, tries to get a block on the outside, and he's upended. What a tackle from number 15, Forrest Ambridge.
And there again, Sandpoint's momentum, Sandpoint's defense really kind of rising up to the task now. And we've seen them attack that edge over there. Lewiston has a couple of times. So there must be something over there they're seeing. But Sandpoint is not having any of it.
And that was actually Kobe Barlow on the tackle. So 3rd and long here. 3rd and 8, we'll call it. Hottinger takes the snap, rolling to his right, looking downfield. He's got a couple of deep shots, and this one's to Braden Rice over the top in triple coverage, and it's incomplete. And there is a flag down back towards the line of scrimmage. We'll see what the call is here.
Rice is a heck of a receiver, and that's the respect he gets when he gets 3 guys on him, but at the same time, it's going to be a tough ball to drop around 3 defenders. But this flag might be...
and it looks like it's against Lewiston. Ineligible man downfield once again. That's twice that's happened. And that's going to be declined. And it's going to bring up 4th and 8.
Well, and sometimes when you bum rush out there to grab, or I should not grab, that's they're not holding, to get to the linebackers, and then the linebackers drop off into coverage, pretty soon you're too far downfield for a long pass play like that.
Minute and 36 seconds to go here, as we would assume that Lewiston would punt, but we'll see what the call is here with Coach Pancari. Sometimes they roll the dice, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and punt it. Back deep to receive, number 8. That's going to be Joe Bohannick. And it's a nice spiral punt. Great punt there from Hottinger, and it's taken at the 25-yard line. Bohannick's got a couple of blocks. Gets to the far side of the field. He's got the 40. He's got the sideline. Bohannick! And he's finally brought down all the way inside the 30-yard line. What a catch and run there from Bohannick.
Well, and like you said, we just mentioned from Lewiston's side that if you get the ball to those great return guys, you're going to pay for it. This time, Sandpoint gets the ball and gets those blockers, and all of a sudden he's able to pick his way through to give them incredible field position.
1st and 10, ball on the 26-yard line. Sandpoint, what can they do with this field position? To start the game, they had horrible field position, and now they've been dealt an excellent card there from Bohannick. Shotgun set with Pettit. He's got 2 touchdowns using his legs thus far. Can he get one through the air? And a big hit there from Jordan Bramlett, but the receiver's able to stay on his feet and push forward. And that was number 5, Max Frank, got the catch and run.
Well, and again, just kind of staying with it there and able to make sure that offense gets some positive out of it, but barely. Nice job rallying up there by the defender and putting a little bit of a pop in the step there.
It's like Bramlett's just got a stinger there, the shoulder. As they were only able to pick up one there from the tackle with Bramlett. Good pressure up there, and Braden Rice comes in. It's going to be 2nd and 9. Pettit in the pistol once again, 4 wide receivers. Lewiston 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and then 2 over the top. Pettit takes the snap. It's a quick out route, and it's caught. And he's going to drive upfield and pick up some more yardage there. Good catch and run from Ari Vandenberg.
And Vandenberg, we've seen with a couple of those catches like that, he's been used as a lead block, and this time he just shows that good sure-handed catch and moves those chains. Plenty of time for Sandpoint here, not only in this quarter, but also the whole fourth quarter to work with.
1st and 10 after the pickup from Vandenberg. Motion now, here comes that power formation for Sandpoint. Lewiston rallies around it. Motion from the near side. They're going to go right up the middle this time, however, to Hughes. Test that the teeth of that defense, and that's a pickup of 4.
Well, and with all that flow, it really puts a lot of pressure on 1 or 2 of those defenders. They have to run up there and tackle Hughes, which can't be fun. Hughes likes to get behind those shoulder pads and give him a pop.
2nd and 6, we'll call it. Ball spotted at the 11-yard line, and that is the end of the third quarter. I was just going to check and see what the time is, and we've got 3 zeros over there. So, folks, we have played 3. Our score in this one, Lewiston 26, Sandpoint 23. We'll be right back after these short messages. You're watching IdahoSports.com.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lewiston, Idaho, as the Lewiston Bengals lead 26-23.
Hey, real quick, as you can go on IdahoSports.com, Friday Night Flash, that's the place you want to be. I would imagine a lot of people are going to be checking this score as well. Watch us, but check out this score. Lakeland 31, Post Falls 14. So Lakeland is legit, and Sandpoint, their rival, is towing it up here at the start of the fourth quarter.
Start of the fourth. Ball on the 11, 2nd and 6. Red zone opportunity here for the Bulldogs. And they're going to run this out to the right side. Pettit not really sure what that play was doing, as the entire front 7 for Lewiston ended up in the backfield, and that's going to be a loss there.
Yeah, it kind of had the makings like it was supposed to be a screen. The play design looked a little bit like an option, but nonetheless puts them back here on this 3rd down.
So 3rd and 12 now. It's going to back them up outside the 15-yard line, put them at the 17. And it's going to be in between the 2 hashes. Pettit in the gun. Pressure being shown from the Bengals. 3 down linemen, but the linebackers are shifting in. And they bring up pressure from behind. Pettit's got to get rid of it, and it's incomplete. good pressure brought there from the Bengals. They got in Pettit's face, and that is going to bring up 4th down, and we could see a field goal.
Yeah, you'd kind of jinxed him there. You said he'd pretty much kept his shirt clean, and this time it got a little dirty there because they did dial it up, that pressure, and it was in a different angle than Sandpoint was ready for. I was kind of hoping for a field goal here. As an old 8-man guy, you don't see a lot of these live, so this is exactly what we're hoping here.
This is going to be from the 24-yard line, close to the 25, so it's going to be about a 35-yard attempt here. Snaps down, good hold, kick is up, and through the uprights, and good. 2 for 2, and man, are we getting a special team show from Purdick.
Is it too early to start talking about player of the game, huh?
Brought to you by Idaho Transportation Department, by the way. And boy, is he transporting that ball through the uprights.
He is, and we talked about this in a number of different games, how important it is to have a good offense, a good defense, and now special teams rising to the occasion. And we've seen some cat and mouse with some kicking deep and some onside kick, obviously. I don't imagine Sandpoint's into that game now, but it's also one of those where you're going to want to make sure those kickoff lanes are really secure, because Lewiston has been known to do a nice job of returning this with Rice and Jared Jelinek as the return guys.
So first, we'll see where they're going to kick this one, and they've gone to Jared Jelinek the last couple of times. Braden Rice probably thinking, what the heck? I'm over here too. And folks, just a reminder, you should check out the Friday Night Flash, where you can see some other scores here, but why would you go anywhere else? We got ourselves a barn burner here, 26 all. As Sandpoint is set to kick this off once again. Purdick, who just tied the ball game up with a 35-yard attempt. He's set to kick. They're going to do so from the right hash. And he sends it straight away to Jared Jelinek, who takes it out past the 10. And Jelinek's brought down from behind inside the 30, marking the 26-yard line. And that's where the Bengals are going to start things off.
Well, coaches always say this, the score is 0-0. Well, it's not 0-0, but it is all tied up here with less than 11 minutes left in the game, unless we go to overtime. Too early to talk about it?
That's right. I mean, hey, we're par for the course with last year. Again, Sandpoint won that game 42-41. And Hottinger, he's going to throw this one over the head of Braden Rice. Some miscommunication there, and a flag came down here on the near side.
Well, and then a little bit of a trick here. I'm not saying it's outside the rules, but they did step somebody on the field for Lewiston, which would have been off the camera, and I'm not sure he was covered. Nonetheless, there was a penalty with illegal procedure by the offense, and so it pushes him back, and looks like you're going to have to get some yards the old traditional way.
So not exactly what Lewiston was hoping for to start things off here, given that. How about that third quarter from Sandpoint, Jason? They are down 26-10. They get it. They get 13 points while shutting Lewiston's powerful offense out. And now we're looking at a tie ball game, and now Lewiston just got a penalty.
Well, and Lewiston has been able to string some things together at times. Now they have to do it when they truly have to, simply because the fact that they've been able to take advantage of Sandpoint at times, but not consistently in this half.
1st and 15, ball in the 22. Motion from James White in the backfield. They're going to string it out a reverse here from Jelinek. Jelinek gets out to the 20, and he's brought down from behind, and who else but number 22? That is Weston Benefield.
Yeah, Benefield. We've been talking about him quite a bit this half, and sure enough, he's leading the charge to this tied ball game.
2nd and 15 now, ball in the 21. 10:44 to go. Back to passes Hottinger. He's got a seam route, and that is not broken up. A big collision there. Number 19, Eli Alshouse on the coverage, laying the lumber on Braden Rice.
Yeah, and there was enough defenders there. I was thinking for a second that might be the ball might have gotten popped up and then picked off, and so Lewiston just happy to have the ball back in 3rd and long.
3rd and 15. Ball on the 21 to be precise. 10:37 to go here in the fourth quarter. 26 all. What a game. Honninger next to Ricard. And we've got ourselves another penalty, and the Sandpoint players are pointing over at Lewiston.
Right on the play. False start on the Bengals.
False start.
Well, sorry, Garrison, but it looks like the Sandpoint defense was, they know it's going to be a pass play or screenplay, so they're teeing off and ready to rumble. And Lewiston was kind of getting edgy there with their offensive linemen. They did a nice job in the first half, but this half they've been a little rattled.
3rd and 20. Ball on the 16. Momentum all in favor of Sandpoint. Ricard takes the snap. He's going to drop way back. He throws it deep. He's got Jared Jelinek! Jelinek with a big catch out past the 50!
That is a heck of a bailout right there. We've seen the big man come through and be a big old running back and kind of a tight end who can run or once in a while throw. And this time he just, like you said, he drops way back there like it's just a little bit of flag football look, and you just run deep, and eventually I'll drop it on you.
And Jelinek, he's alone by himself here, and Sandpoint did catch it just at the end there. Jelinek was waving his arms, desperate to get the ball. Ricard keeps it himself and gets out past the 40, and now we've got a flag here, maybe a late hit.
Ricard scrambles out for about a 5-yard gain.
Well, and something similar to what we had with that kind of that play, that ghost play, simply because of the fact that it is legal. He's on the field. We've seen that with some 8-man guys where they're spread out all over the place. Kind of hard on the camera guy, but in this case, they did have that opportunity. But by the time they realized it kind of threw off the offensive play. But he was still able to pick up a bunch of yards with that heavy shoulder, and it looks like the penalty is going to give them some more. So again, Lewiston kind of getting back on the horse and getting some momentum going. Now they got to get those points.
26 all here as Lewiston is back in the red zone, and their crowd starting to get some energy back after a couple of big plays here. Ball on the 20. Lathan goes in motion, and the ball snapped over Ricard's head, and he's able to pounce on it.
And who was right there to grab it if he didn't? Benefield.
Benefield was roaming in the area, and it's a good thing Ricard was able to scoop that up. But that's going to be a big loss of 10. So just as Lewiston was stringing some things together, they're back 10 yards. Ball on the 30 now, 2nd and 20. Ricard and Honninger shoulder to shoulder. They're going to fake it to both. Honninger's got to loft this one over the top, and it's incomplete. His intended target was James White, and Honninger had a lot of pressure in front of him.
Yeah, White's a sure-handed receiver, but that ball seemed to kind of hang up there, and the defense was able to rally over there, and he ran out of property anyway, and then the ball ended up out of bounds.
So 3rd and 20, another deep play here. We may as well send Ricard back 5 or 6 steps in the drop and hurl it towards the end zone.
Streaks. Everybody run for streaks.
But this time Honninger takes the snap. He's looking downfield. It's a quick post route across the middle, caught by James White. He's close to the first down marker. Going to be a bit short, and there's a flag in the backfield.
And we mentioned it before. White is a great receiver with good hands, and be interesting to see what this penalty is, if it moves Lewiston back even farther, but it looks like they're pointing into the defense. But then again, we have some offensive linemen kind of scratching the top of their head going, what, me?
Got some unhappy-looking Lewiston players. We'll see what the call is here. And the official looks like he's going over to talk to Sandpoint, see what they want to do. So this will likely be against the Bengals. Here's the official call. Now here's the official call. They got a lot to sort out, folks. It is against Lewiston, and it looks like it was a chop block. And that's going to back them up. Now, Jason, for the fans at home, what's a chop block?
That's when one player is engaged with another, and a second offensive lineman tends to take out the knees, and it's really about player safety there. And it can happen inadvertently by somebody falling down and kind of rolling into something, or sometimes it can be a little more suspect. But in either case, here comes the screenplay.
3rd and 35, and here's the screenplay, and it's out past the 40. Lincoln stays in bounds, and he gets back close to the original line of scrimmage. That must have been a gain of about 25 yards there, and suddenly we're looking at 4th and 10, which, you could make something happen with that.
Well, and that's why you run those little edge screen plays, even though they look like they're just going to get swallowed up every time. Sure enough, he's able to sneak his way out. The blocking down the sideline, doing a nice job getting him sprung. 4th and 5 here.
That's going to be a 4th and 5, 4th and 4 from the 14-yard line, 8:58 to go, tie ball game. White in the slot. Post fall showing pressure, and now we are going to get the play blown dead as we've got a timeout here for Lewiston. They've got some things to talk about, Jason.
Yes, they do, but you also talked about how you want to slow down an offense maybe that has a big lead, and how do you do that? At the same time, because they go so quickly, get up on the ball, they have plenty of time to look at what they are looking at as far as offense to defense, and so they had a couple of looks there that maybe they wanted to make sure everybody is on the same page and then be able to take advantage of it here. Quite frankly, you might be able to go on a multiple call, like go on 10 and maybe get the defense to jump off sides anyway. So you might be able to sneak that in as well, where you get those free 5 yards. It looks like the offensive guys are right down in there and kind of giving some pointing, okay, here's what we're going to do, here's what we're going to do. And at the same time, on the other side, I'm sure Coach Knowles' dudes are saying, hey, defensive line, make sure you watch the ball. And then they've done such a nice job of, getting the ball thrown short and rallying up. Obviously, the screenplay burned them, but a lot of times they were able to just get there with their speed and getting them stopped before they get the big game.
So here we go, folks. 4th and 4, ball on the 14-yard line. This would be the biggest stop of the night for the Bulldogs if they're able to get it. And for Lewiston, this would be the jump start they need on offense. Honninger takes the snap, throws a wheel route. He's got Lathan. Touchdown, Bengals! They go back on top over Sandpoint.
Well, just like that, just like the camera guy, there's so much heavy flow going to the far side of the field, they're able to sneak out one of those protector running backs that are up there in that formation, and he gets lost in all of the defense, and sure enough, he's able to stand out there by himself. Nice play call, just like we talked about. They must have saw something they wanted to take advantage of.
Now this is actually a big kick here from Lathan. They've had troubles here in this game, and it's blocked. No good. And just like that, Sandpoint, they could go up by using a PAT.
Yeah, and that's, again, special teams really rising to the occasion here. You just can't assume anything's going to happen here. And we've also seen Sandpoint's kickers doing a nice job. So it could be one of those crazy situations where 2 field goals also bring it within a tie. So don't fall asleep yet, folks.
Do not indeed. 8:52 to go here in the 4th quarter. Lewiston leads 32-26. We've got ourselves a barn burner here. Game night on the Palouse brought to you by P1 FCU. Although we are in the LC Valley, but nonetheless. And folks, we just want to remind you that we got some great features here on IdahoSports.com, like our Make Memories Just Last a Lifetime. There we go, 3rd time's the charm. By owning the digital game file of this game for just $9.95. Just click the button in the top right to order. Follow IdahoSports.com on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get updates, breaking news, pictures, and more. Click the icons in the top left to follow us now.
Hey, I think that was Owen Wimmer, one of the linebackers, who is the guy who got through there and blasted through on special teams. I cheated and watched him walk over there. So I think he's the guy who got all the high fives. And so nice job by him. We've been talking about Benefield and the linebacking crew. There's Owen Wimmer also coming through and doing his job. So nice job with special teams. All facets of the game showing up here tonight.
And the Bengals send this one back deep as they get their first score of the second half on that last drive. Sandpoint hoping to respond here. And that was number 8 for Sandpoint. Bohannock, solid return there, able to bounce off a couple of tackles and get them out past the 25-yard line. So here comes the Lewiston defense. They've been battered a little bit here in the second half by an offense on Sandpoint that has caught fire. We'll see what Sandpoint has here. 13 points in the third quarter, and now they want to add to that total. First and 10 from the 26. Pettit looking. He's got an option deep over the top, but it's well short, incomplete. The intended target for Sandpoint was number 5, that's Max Frank.
Looked a little bit discombobulated with where Pettit thought he was going to be and where he was. And fortunately for Sandpoint, that there was a lot of purple shirts out there in the middle between the two of them, and the ball didn't land on any of those guys.
Second and 10. Some motion here from a couple receivers there for Sandpoint. That's number 5, Max Frank, just call him, and number 17, Connor Hindenburg, who had a deep post route earlier this game. Pettit fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. He's got a couple of blockers out in front of him. He gets out into the second level. He's going to get as much as he can here. Being dragged down and finally brought down inside the 45-yard line. Pettit has done a lot with his legs tonight, too.
Yeah, and that's the key right there, showing that moxie, just showing that game prowess with knowing what needs to happen and doing a nice job with the read, as well as he kind of slowed down to make sure he kept a hold of that ball. The defenders were slapping at it, and he did a nice job of making sure that it didn't go anywhere.
So 32-26 here. 8:17 left to go as we've got a quick pause in play. And we just want to once again remind you, our army of Idaho sports action photographers are covering games all over the state. We've revamped our galleries and made it even easier to find and order your favorite action shots. Just go to IdahoSports.com and click the action photos link in the menu. So first and 10, ball on the 43-yard line. After the run there from Pettit. He's got 2 touchdowns on the ground. Lewiston with 4 down linemen, 4-3 look, and they send the 4 blitzers. Pettit, he's got to get rid of it now. He can't, and he's brought down, still on his feet, but finally brought down, and it looks like there was a scramble for the ball there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's how the referee saw it, but there was a scramble with lots of guys going all over the place. And there's also a flag down in the secondary.
But it was recovered by the Bulldogs.
PA announcer said it was recovered by the Bulldogs. I'm not sure the referees, and I'm not second-guessing them because they're right down there on top of things. But it's one of those where I think that maybe they thought he was down before the ball came out anyway. So nice job with Lewiston. We talked about Sandpoint doing that, kind of dialing up some pressure when they needed it.
And they're going to call a personal foul against Sandpoint,
which is quite a bit of ways from where you might imagine that, deep in the secondary. I'm not sure I saw anything because I was kind of looking in the backfield.
So that's a 15-yard penalty against the Bulldogs, and that is going to make it first and a mile, first and 25. So
flag was called on the Bulldogs.
We didn't see what transpired to get that personal foul call.
First and 25.
Ball's going to be spotted at the 38-yard line. Shotgun look once again for Sandpoint. Lewiston in their 4-3. Man-to-man coverage over the top. And pressure being shown. They bring a middle linebacker for Lewiston. And Max has got the outside. He's inside the 40. And he breaks through another tackle and brought down inside the 30. And suddenly they're close once again. They're past the first down sticks. In one play, they get all that yards back and more.
Yeah, we highlighted Lewiston doing a nice job of blocking for each other. This time Sandpoint gives them a dose of their own medicine. The offensive lineman, number 67, and the guys out here near the bottom of the field, the bottom of the screen. Now they're back in business with this first down.
First and 10, ball on the 28. Pettit takes the snap, fakes it, keeps it himself. He doesn't have as much blockers this time, and he's swallowed up before he could get to the second level.
Yeah, last time he was able to pick his way through that. This time it looked like maybe the give was the way to go, but it's easy to see from way up here, and they're not chasing me, so.
Second and 7, ball on the 25. 6:45 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Pettit in the pistol. takes the snap. Looking, it's a quick hook route. And a nice spin upfield, but the receiver's not able to get away from it. That is Frank Max.
Yeah, nice job by Frank Max. We've talked about him a couple of different times here recently where he was kind of quiet. Lewiston was kind of keeping him contained. Now all of a sudden he's making a big impact.
And I'm sorry, Max, it's Max Frank. Just doing an old switcheroo there.
Well, the comm is silent.
There you go. There you go. 3rd and 1, ball in the 19 after the catch and run there from Frank. And they go right up the middle to Hughes, who gets to the second level, easily has the first down, and we're looking at another red zone opportunity for Sandpoint.
Well, nice job of Sandpoint, keeping Lewiston doing all the way to the edge, This time you just go Hughes right up the middle, and he just pounds him.
1st and 10, ball in the 11. Clock is rolling to under 6.5 here in the 4th quarter.
Now's when that front 7 from Lewiston needs to show up. We've talked about Sandpoint doing that. And now it's time for Robert Storm and the boys to show up.
Pettit in the gun, and the official is going to blow it dead, and we've got a timeout for Lewiston as they want to talk this over. And it makes sense with Sandpoint moving the ball efficiently. They want to see if they can't shake things up a little bit.
Well, and we talked about how you need some pressure. You need to make sure you're fresh. We've seen a number of guys from both teams have cramps. That generally helps out the offense if the defense is struggling. So definitely want to make sure you're on the same page because this is going to be tough.
Indeed it is. And Jason, when you're on offense, you're trailing 6, under 6 minutes to go in the game. The pressure's got to be pretty high on this one because you certainly don't want to give the ball back to a Lewiston offense that seemed to wake up on that last drive.
That's right. Well, it's been back and forth, so it's going to be key here for Sandpoint to stay efficient. You don't have to just be one-dimensional. We've seen them do a number of things, but this is generally Parker Pettit time, as I recall. So that has got to be something that Coach Payne Carey's crew's got to be mindful of. Even when the play breaks down, Parker Pettit knows how to find the end zone.
So here we go, folks. 1st and 10, ball on the 11. 6:06 left in the game. Got 4 receivers in total, 2 on each side. Pettit, he's going to hand this one off the middle to Hughes. He's got a hole. He bursts through it into the end zone. Touchdown, Sandpoint. And they tie the ball game up with a chance to take the lead.
Well, we just mentioned that's Parker Pettit knows how to find it. Well, yeah, just give it to Hughes. He just blasts right through. And again, special teams. We don't oftentimes give the player of the game to a special teamer, but it might be tonight because this could be the difference.
So here's for the lead, the place kicker, Luke Perdick. 2 for 2 on field goals, perfect on PATs thus far. Snaps, hold, kick is up, and it's no good! Perdick misses it and pushed it right.
It looked like he kind of short-legged it. I'm not a professional, but there was quite a bit of silence on both teams right there. Is that good? Is that not good? And sure enough, with 6 minutes left, we were hoping for this. 6 minutes left, tie ball game.
And Perdick, my goodness, that right there is a commentator's curse if I've ever seen it. I'm building up his game all night, and there we go. So that's on me. 32-32. Sandpoint ties the game up. And again, Jason, it's crazy when you look at the schedule from last year. Almost a year to the day. Lewiston fell at the hands of Sandpoint 42-41 in overtime. And here we are, tie ball game with 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, and of course, both these teams are thinking, we don't want overtime, we would just want to win it outright. Now, Lewiston needs to stay efficient. They've had their struggles this half. They need to find that groove quickly again. I obviously, you'd like to chew up all 6 minutes, but at this point, you just want the points.
So Perdick just missed the PAT, his first miss of the night, but he's been dead on it thus far, other than that miss. Now he's set to kick here. Back awaiting his kick, Jared Jelinek as well as Braden Rice. He hasn't kicked it to Rice yet. And here we go. It's a pooch right down the middle. That's taken by Rylan Gomez at the 25-yard line. And Gomez just gets what he can and gets it out to the 35.
Let's heads up by that young man. Make sure you secure the ball, get what you can, like you said, and get down. Even if you think, oh, I could maybe struggle for another half yard, it's better to just make sure the offense gets it so that way they can get to work.
1st and 10, ball on the 35-yard line. Good field position to start things out. 5:55 to go here in the 4th quarter. Honninger, he's going to send Ricard in motion. And he's going to fake the handoff there, looking for a crease. He's got it. He's up past the 45 and brought down. That's going to be a 1st down run for Honninger.
Yeah, Lewiston's back on their schedule. They got all kinds of misdirection. Honninger gets lost in the shuffle, and he still had the ball, so he picked up a nice, easy 1st down.
5:40 and counting. 1st and 10, ball on the 48. Lewiston on the move. Honninger sends James White in motion. And he fakes it, keeps it himself once again, and tripped up from behind, and that's going to be a pickup of about 4.
Yeah, even if it's just a short gain, it's still 4 yards. And again, nice sure hands right there. You're getting a lot of defensive flow here as it looks like Lewiston's kind of flipping their receivers around here. Looks like Lawrence is heading to the far side.
Braden Rice and we've got Lawrence on the far side lined up together. And then again, that trio in the backfield with James White, kind of a hatchback look. Ricard goes in motion, and Honninger once again, 3rd time's the charm, looking to burst this one as well. And he's got a 1st down, and he's brought down, and that's going to be a horse collar. That's the call. That was against number 22, Benefield.
Yeah, Benefield just trying to get him down. I don't think there was anything malicious, even if it was a horse collar. Kind of interesting where there's so much defensive push to try and set an edge. Honninger was able to just kind of work his way through that and kind of get the defense behind him on that outside run play.
So that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. And Lewiston is in business, heading back towards another red zone visit. 4:55 to go. Ball spotted at the 27-yard line. Jared Jelinek and Lawrence on the far side of the field there. That's Austin Lawrence. Honninger, once again, it's kind of a shovel pass here to number 21. That's that's Jackson Layton, I believe it is.
Well, and it is behind the line of scrimmage, so even though it looks like it's even or maybe just a little bit forward, it's totally fine simply because that is actually a pass/lateral, and Lewiston moves the ball again. Maybe a little bit unconventional, sorry Garrison, but doing a nice job of keeping things mixed up here.
4.5 and counting, 2nd and 2. Layton goes back, shuffles to the other side of the play. Now Honninger's going in motion. And we've got Ricard. Takes the snap, wildcat play. He tries to get to the outside, got a couple of blockers, and just bulldozes his way through. And still moving the pile, and finally pushed out of bounds.
Well, and again, such an interesting wrinkle. We haven't seen that so far, where you actually have the quarterback, the guy we've been talking about, we highlighted pregame, going out in motion, kind of a potential receiver look, and then this time the tight end quarterback, the big Tim Tebow guy, gets it and pounds forward and picks up that easy 1st down.
1st and goal. Ball on the 8. Honninger hands it up to Ricard, and he is met immediately and brought down. Maybe a pickup of 1.
Well, this time the defense was ready. Looked like Benefield and number 31 in there, just trying to make sure that they get things stopped before it gets started too much. Wimmer is his name. Wimmer. Sorry, Wimmer. Missed you up there.
2nd and 8. Honninger hands it off to Layton. Layton trying to get to the outside, cuts it back in, dives for the pylon. And he's ruled out just outside the goal line at the 1-yard line. An excellent effort to try to get into the goal line.
Well, chipping away. Defensive offense has struggled down here on the goal line. Again, probing the edges. Be interesting to see if they try and blast something straight forward here.
Ricard He's in the backfield, so is James White. They fake it to both. Hottinger tries to get it himself and can't. He's stonewalled.
Drew Hottinger with the carry.
Fourth and 1, clock's running, 3:13 left. Plenty of time. Obviously, you're right down here on the goal line, and every second you use up, Sandpoint can't use.
So it is 4th and 1. 3 minutes to go. Ball spotted on the 2. So we'll call it 4th and 2, rather. Here we go. Hottinger takes the snap. He's just going to try to run to the edge. He's flipped up into the air and stuffed. Sandpoint shuts the door on the Bengals, and that could change the frame of this game here.
Yeah, and Benefield looked like he was one of the culprits over here, putting a stop to that. Flowing over, we talked about there was heavy flow, and they've been trying to do some misdirection with it. And instead, they just tried to stay with it. It had been working. Yeah, you know, that's always that coaching second guess. Do I go to what's opposite of this, or do I stay with it? Now it's Sandpoint's turn. 2:40 left on the clock. You're 96 yards away from a touchdown. Or obviously the kicker's thinking, well, give me a shot. I gotta make up for it. Got to make up for that missed extra point.
Wouldn't that be something, a game-winning field goal here? We'll see what happens on this drive. Pettit hands it off to, that's going to be his go-to running back thus far tonight, number 5, Max Frank.
And we've seen him as a receiver. We've seen him now as a running back a couple of different times. Again, that whole stable of running backs kind of doing some flipping around here, changing the formation and sides, making Lewiston match it.
So a gain of 9 on the play there, 2nd and 1. Lewiston showing pressure. And they're going to go right up the middle to Frank once again, who's got the first down and more.
Well, Nick, I don't think you can hear it, but the train's come to town. Maybe that's the a little bit of the foreshadowing. It looks like we had a penalty. The clock is running, but it is a factor. But with the penalty, it stops, obviously, and if it was a first down, that also stopped it.
So it looked like what happened, there was a Lewiston player on the back of, I believe that was number 44, Joseph Hughes. And Hughes stood up, and the Lewiston player went tumbling to the ground, and now the officials got to talk it over, see if that was malicious or whatnot.
Well, and some of it could just be you're trying to chew up more time, because if it takes Sandpoint some time to get up, get back in the huddle, get things lined up, that can also be a penalty just simply by trying to cause a delay of game. But it looks like we're moving the pile back, so it may be against Sandpoint on third thought. Well, and you appreciate the officials trying to get it right, but it is also one of those where, okay, now the score's tied here, not much time left. This is going to be a big call. They got to make sure it's right, obviously, and they were closer to the action than we were, but
and so that is against Sandpoint. And again, on the what could be the final drive of regulation, that's a big penalty.
It's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
So still 32-32 all. We'll see where they spot this now. It's going to be, it is still first down. They've got the chain gain moving.
Right, lost the yardage, but gained the first down. So, but clock is going to be an issue still with that 2:04 left.
That's right, 2:04, ball in the 12, and now we've got the officials just waiting for the chain gang to get set up here.
And the clock runs now, not on the snap of the ball.
No 2-minute warning either. Under center is Pettit. Pettit hands it off to Frank. Lowers the shoulder and tries to push forward, but he's spun down in the backfield for little to no gain.
I like what Coach Knowles is doing here. Stay with who we are. You don't have to get fancy. You don't have to get tricky. Maybe they like the look of going into the overtime look, or maybe they're setting something up here with all this run play.
So it's going to be 2nd and 8 after a 2-yard pickup. Pettit gets it to the far side, and they get out of bounds, which is the important thing there. That was Frank once again on the reception.
Boy, they're liking that number now, but that defender was right there on the spot. Almost looked like they could have almost wrestled for it.
Jordan Bramlett making the tackle on the play.
Jordan Bramlett was credited with the tackle there. It's going to be 3rd and 5. Pettit looking, gets it over the top. He's got an open receiver, and it's incomplete. Frank just couldn't catch up to it at the end there. And that is one that Pettit wishes he had back.
Yeah, they did a nice job of selling it. He had thrown those shoulders. The receiver must have sold it maybe a half a step too much and just couldn't link up. Now you got 4th and 4. Boy, you don't want to give the ball back, but that's the right thing to do in field position.
So 4th and 4, Braden Rice is back deep to receive. Pettit, he takes a step back or two, which would make me think that it's going to be a punt. It is. Pettit. Oh, no, it's off the side of his foot again. And that's going to bounce out of bounds at around the 41-yard line. Excellent field position for Lewiston.
And this is exactly what you're looking for those Lewiston fans. You got 1:07 left. They could probably go the full length in this amount of time when everything's clicking for them. They've had their struggles. Sandpoint has shown up really well this half on defense. It's really going to be a battle of will here. What are you going to go with? Well, they just got stopped on the goal line with some run plays near the bottom of the screen. Do you stick with that look that was successful in this spot, or do you go to something next?
Honninger takes the snap, looking. He's got a seam route. He's going to go to it. It's Layton, and it's incomplete, and Layton turned into a defender there. You could argue that was maybe offensive pass interference.
And Honninger's pass is incomplete downfield, intended for number 21.
So it's going to be 2nd and 10 after the incompletion.
And that nice gentle breeze is picking up. My nose is running. My hands are cold.
Feels like it's winter.
Or at least fall. Isn't it fall today?
It is.
Autumn.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion now. Pressure being shown from the edges, and they bring it. And it's a wheel route, and it's incomplete. Once again, Layton was the intended target.
And once again, Drew Honninger targets Jackson Layton. And once again, it's incomplete. 3rd and 10 for the Bengals.
So 3rd and 10, back-to-back incompletions. Ball on the 42-yard line. Now, if your question is, if it turns into 4th, do you punt it, try to pin them deep, or are you going for it?
I think you got to punt it, just play that field position. Both offenses seem to be struggling.
Honninger rolls out, tries to hit a comeback route to Braden Rice. It's incomplete, and suddenly it's 4th down. Sandpoint's defense bows up and keeps the Bengals at bay. 4th and 10. Let's see what the Bengals got dialed up here.
Well, both teams have their punter slash quarterback in. We saw that with Pettit. Now it's Lewiston's turn. You got the guts to actually go for it in this situation, or go ahead and punt it away.
4th and 10. It looks like they're set for a punt, and that's what they're going to do. This one is a punt with some backspin to it, and it just drops dead inside the 20-yard line, mark at the 16. So Sandpoint's defense might get the IdahoSports.com squad of the game, as they have really come in clutch.
They have. Well, it looked like it was going to be just an offensive barn burner by both teams here at the final 6-minute mark. But then all of a sudden, everybody brought their defenses out, and now both teams doing a nice job of stonewalling.
So Sandpoint has 44 seconds to get the length of the field. We'll see how aggressive they come out here. Pettit in the pistol. Pressure being shown. Bengals bring it off the edge. Pettit, he's got a seam route down the middle to Garcia. It's intercepted by Dumas again. That is number 7, Briggs Dooman, rather. And now there's flags coming in all over the place here.
Flags are on the play.
And that's his second interception of the game, isn't it?
That is.
Well, and the fact that the receiver fell down, I think Sandpoint is a little miffed and grumpy about that. That being said, excellent awareness by that young man. We talked about how he's just opportunistic. The ball ends up right in his lap. He picks it up, off he goes. He gets the ball back to where Lewiston just had to give it up. They should have a lot of momentum in their sails. But this personal foul or penalty might push them back, which it looks like they did. So
that will be a penalty, and that's going to be a 15-yard penalty, which, if you're a Sandpoint fan, thank goodness.
At the same time, Lewiston does keep the ball, so that isn't negated.
33 seconds left, and this is a Bengal offense that can score quickly. Are we looking at another overtime game between these two schools? Last year, once again, Sandpoint came out on top in overtime, 42-41.
And this is one of those moments where you want to show confidence. You want to use your offensive playbook. At the same time, you don't want to get too crazy here and give Sandpoint the same opportunity you just had.
And we got to make an old switcheroo here with the ball.
Each team decides what kind of ball they want, and there's different brands and different styles. And
here we go. We've got the official set. Honninger in the gun. Takes the snap. He's going to roll right. Looking. He's got a deep post route over the top. It's Jared Jelinek. He almost caught it! Oh my goodness! It looked as though he thought the defender was going to get a hand on it, and the ball surprised him. And it's incomplete.
Well, again, it just shows that respect. He gets all the way down there. We talked about it earlier with Rice. You have three defenders around him, and he almost dropped it. Hottinger almost dropped it right where it needed to be this time.
2nd and 10. Ball in the 42 after that near Hail Mary play. Hottinger takes the snap. Looking. He's going to go the other side. It's James White, and it's batted away. Great coverage there from the secondary of Sandpoint.
Nice job bearing down right there. I'm not sure of the number, but looked like he just showed up right at the right time to bat that number, or bat the ball away, rather, because White has those sure hands. We talked about it a number of times.
3rd and 10. Ball on the 42. 19 seconds left in regulation. Hottinger. They're just going to go to the ground here to Layton. Layton trying to get to the outside so we can get out of bounds. He still has that option, and he finally gets out of bounds, and he's pushed down, but the official says that was not a malicious tackle by any means. Sometimes you see that unnecessary roughness or a late hit out of bounds.
Yeah, and of course you got all kinds of emotions running high here with 10 seconds left in a very close game and a rivalry like we talked about. But cooler heads prevailed, and we were off to play football to just the last couple of plays.
So it's 4th and 1. Ball on the 42. And they may just want to punt it away here and be safe. They don't want to get good field position to Sandpoint. And they're just going to go ahead and boot this one away. But it's a pretty short kick taken, and it's going to be brought down at the 29-yard line with 3 seconds to go. At this point, you just playing for overtime?
Yeah, I think so. But, again, hats off to a couple of Lewiston Bengals right there getting him down quick, because it looked like he was going to get ahead of steam, and who knows what damage he might do.
Well, and also another hat off to the Sandpoint defense.
Yeah.
That's 3 straight times where they've bowed up and made big stops and held them on 4th down, or 3rd down rather.
Yes, especially when it looked like they were getting kind of bullied there in the first quarter, first half. I think you're just going to see a knee. Of course, I am a little greedier. I'm thinking let's go ahead and let Parker Pettit wing one down the sideline here. But,
come on, we've all played Madden. Just throw it. It's the worst that could happen.
Or better yet, let's get some overtime.
Now, from here, this would be about a 75-yard kick. So we'll see if they bring nope, they're just going to take the knee. So, ladies and gentlemen, just like last year, Lewiston and Sandpoint, are going to overtime. We're going to take a short break here, thank some of our sponsors, but we'll be right back after these messages.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lewiston, Idaho, here in District 2 on IdahoSports.com. We've got the Lewiston Bengals and the visiting Sandpoint Bulldogs. And hey, wouldn't you know it, it's overtime. And for the folks at home who maybe haven't seen an overtime game here on IdahoSports.com, I'm going to turn it over to my coach here, Jason Hansen. Jason, what are the rules here for overtime as we get ready to see the captains head out onto the field?
Well, let's go back a step. This is another way to respect the veterans. This is the Veterans Night, so I don't know if they're going to bring those guys out because obviously emotions are really high now. This is normally when I would turn to my assistants. Now, what's the rule? And so you get to pick, so you're going to go out there, you're going to flip the coin. The coin is going to be, do you want the ball, so do you want to go first or second? Most of the time people want to go second, so that way they can decide what's going to happen here. Because at this level, you could see a field goal on the approach. Not as common, but you could see it. And so each team is going to get a turn on offense. You essentially take away the special teams minus the field goal. So it's not like the NFL, if you watch on Sundays, where they kick off and all that jazz. It's really one of those where you're going to pick a side, probably near where the clock is, so that'd be to our right. And then one team will be on offense first. They go ahead and blast it, and then the other team is, whatever they do, you have to match it, or then you can win it by taking it the other time. So start at the 25, as I recall.
That's right.
And off we go. So I've also played on this field way back in the day. Let me just tell you a personal story with some.
Is it back when it was black and white?
Yeah, it's black and white life. We didn't have color at that time. Some Kansas City tiebreakers, which are always fun. One team goes to the playoffs, and 3 teams came to Lewiston, and unfortunately, the blue and gold didn't prevail. That being said, Genesee did not win tonight, but they only lost 22-50 to Prairie, which is kind of an improvement. And
right.
Lakeland held on against Post Falls. And so the captains head back out there. Let's go ahead and zoom in here, cameraman. So the captains head back out there, again showing some unity and some sportsmanship by everybody. Going to flip the coin, and we decide who gets the ball first.
Now, again, for those of you at home, it's typically ideal to start out on defense in overtime, as you really want to see what the other team does first. You may, for instance, force a turnover, and suddenly you're just left with, oh, all we have to do is score by any means here, and they automatically win. Or they may score a touchdown, and we got to get to the end zone and put points on the board. Or maybe they kick a field goal. We haven't seen that from Lewiston, but they certainly have been putting up some PATs. So when you start on defense, you get the chance to see what happens and then respond.
Correct, and especially when one team seems to have a lot of momentum on their defense this half, it will be interesting. Obviously, Sandpoint will still want to have Lewiston have the ball first, but puts a little more pressure on a team that has struggled this half to score. At the same time, both staffs will have had a couple of plays, some home run hitters that they've saved for this moment, especially as 2 teams that have already done this before.
So here it is. Looks as though Sandpoint is going to start with possession and Lewiston is going to be on defense. Nope, just kidding. They're going to be on offense. The referee faked me out there. Sandpoint's going to be on defense.
So the Sandpoint won the coin flip. And so, all right, we're going to go right back to where we were, essentially, where Lewiston's on offense. A little pressure on them because they have to get points if they can. Again, do you go with the the always questionable field goal, or do you put all the cards on the table on 4th down and just go ahead and try and get that touchdown anyway? So Sandpoint's defense, who has really come along in this half, will be on the field first.
So 1st and 10. And they'll start this at the 20. Oh, excuse me. They've got it spotted at the 10.
There we go. See, it is old school.
Yeah.
You've been watching too much Saturday. So that even puts even more pressure on that defense simply because of the fact that you could kick a field goal from here to get started.
So here we go, folks. Overtime possession number 1. Lewiston on offense. Honninger in the gun. Layton flanking him on his right. Jared Jelinek goes in motion across the screen. Honninger's going to keep it himself. Tries to get to the outside. Good containment there, and he's guided out of bounds. Very minimal gain.
So you do have 4 downs, plus whatever you might get as far as penalties concerned. So, again, you're just really close to it. You're right here in this goal-to-goal situation.
No gain on the play, so still 2nd and 10.
Sandpoint doing a nice job of just kind of setting an edge and everybody rallying up now.
Honninger takes the snap, hands it off to Layton up the middle, who finds a crease, and he runs into the linebackers of Sandpoint.
Jackson Layton receives the ball. He'll gain about 3 yards, and that'll bring 3rd down and about 5 yards.
So it's going to be 3rd and 5 or 6 here. 3rd and goal, rather, from 6 yards out. 3 receivers in the set here, 2 backs in the backfield. Honninger in the gun. He takes the snap, steps back, looking. He's going to roll to his right and flings it out to Layton, who tries to get past the first tackler. Nothing doing, and that's going to bring up 4th and goal.
So now here comes that thing we're just talking about, that decision. Do you kick the field goal, which can be a little suspect, so that way you have points, or do you go for it and put all your chips in the table?
And it looks like they're going to go for it here. Remember, if Sandpoint gets the stop, all they have to do is kick a field goal, and they're winners. Of course, I'm sure they'd like to end it with a touchdown. 4th and goal from the 4. Motion from the far side. Honninger keeps it, looking for the corner. He's being pressured, has to get rid of it to Layton. Can he get to the end zone? Dives! Touchdown! Lewiston punches it in on 4th down. That was a big one there.
Nice job, Honninger, just staying with it. Like you said, it looked like he had defense draped on him. Looked like he was going to get tugged down.
Number 21, Jackson Layton.
Now you also have extra points here because you scored the touchdown, which again is also a suspect event because both teams have struggled at times picking up their extra points. And so do you go for it for a 2-point conversion, or do you kick it?
Now it looks like the Bengals are going for 2.
So they are going to try to go for 2 here and take the kicker out of the equation. 38-32. We'll see if Sandpoint can get a big stop here. Because remember, if they get that stop, Sandpoint can just kick the PAT and potentially win it. 3 yards out. Braden Rice goes in motion near side. They're going to roll to the right, and they're throwing into the second level. Looks like that snuck through. It's good. The 2-point conversion is good to Braden Rice.
Wow, talk about threading a needle right there. Plenty of defense around it. At the same time, Pottinger was pretty comfortable in that situation. Boy, this is just like matching last time. So now Sandpoint has the same opportunities. So they get the ball. So if they score a touchdown, no big deal. They can also pick which hash and this, that, and the other stuff where they want to start. So it's really one of those where now you know what you have to do. You have to score a touchdown and you have to get the extra point. If you don't, it's going to be a quiet bus ride home. If you do, we do it all over again, and then Sandpoint goes first.
So 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. They got 4 downs to work with. Sandpoint's offense has been on a tear, putting up 22 points in the second half. Only 10 in the first. And here they go. Quickly to the line of scrimmage. That's something Lewiston will be used to. Pettit hands it off up the middle, right up the gut. And they drive forward. Looks like it was a pickup of about 5 or 6.
Boy, we've seen that formation a number of times now. It's just good old-fashioned bulldozer where everybody gets in tight and everybody's just pushing forward, kind of the old wing tee, kind of taking us back 100 years of football. But, hey, if it's effective, just keep doing it.
And that was Max Frank up the gut. And they'll go right back to him, trying to push his way forward, picks up another couple of yards. And they're close to the goal line now, counting the 2-yard line. Here we go. 3rd and goal, ball on the 3. Very short gain on that last play. And it looks like they're going to stay out in this same formation here. Pettit under the center. He's already got 2 touchdowns on the ground already. Watch a quarterback bootleg here. Nope, they just go right back up the middle. Touchdown! Sandpoint responds, and now they've got to go for 2.
And again, this is exactly the reason why you want to be on offense second, so that way you can decide what you want to do. Both teams get 1 timeout, and it looks like Sandpoint is elected to use theirs in this situation.
Well, a lot to talk about here as Sandpoint now has to go for 2 in order to tie this up and send it to another overtime. Now, Jason, when you're at the 3-yard line, it all comes down to this. What are some plays that come to mind for you?
Well, I like the idea of that zone run look with whether it be Hughes or Frank, with Pettit getting the option to do things. The other thing is that he likes to roll out right, and he's had some great success at the other end of the field, and that allows him to either dunk it off to somebody or dump it off to somebody, or he just kind of powers it himself. So the nice thing is, you have to go for 2, and I think you got to get Parker Pettit the option to either do it with his legs or maybe do it with a quick little hitter with his arm. And Lewiston on the other side, that they're going to want to probably have it in their playmakers' hands, and you just got to stop this. You want to win. You want to, come up a little better this time than you did last year. Just get this stop on this play, and you're the winner.
So here it goes, folks. The Lewiston faithful making some noise. This is for Arla Marbles right here. Are we going to see another overtime? Well, we're going to see another timeout, as Lewiston wanted to see what they were lining up in, and now they want to talk about something they were going to see on defense.
That's a great call right there. Coach Pancari, he's been around the block a couple of times. They came out and what they were going to want to run, and then he wanted to take a look at it and say, okay, boys, here's what we're going to do. Now the question becomes, again, Sandpoint, do you go to your option 2, or that was your best look? Do you want to go away from what you thought you would work, or do you try and outgame them a little bit, because now both teams are out of timeouts and nobody has the right to stop them?
Again, this is a Sandpoint team that has had to face some adversity this season, starting 0-2. Their 3rd game gets canceled. They get the win against Homedale last week, and they really want to string this one together against Lewiston, a team they beat last year in exciting fashion, much like we are here tonight. For Lewiston's side of things, they want to keep this rolling. They're on 3 straight wins. They want to make it 4 heading into a game against Moscow next week, which, by the way, will be on the call.
Exactly. There you go. A little punch for us. But also one of those things where you want to avenge last year's loss. So a lot on the line here, and this is why we play these non-league games. It's going to be a great one.
So here it is once again. No timeouts this time. From the 3-yard line. Are we going to see another overtime, or is this it? Pettit in the gun. Pettit takes the snap. He's going to keep it himself. He's tripped up! He was down before he got to the goal line, and Lewiston slams the door shut. Make it 4 straight wins for the Bengals.
What a great game. Lot to be proud of by both teams right there. But like you said, it was really one of those things where they put the ball in the hands of the playmaker, but unfortunately, it was his feet that got him because they just kind of submarined him and he wasn't able to get where he needed to be. Again, nice sportsmanship. Coaches are heading towards each other, giving each other high fives and claps and handshakes just because this is a great fought game.
The final score in this one, taking overtime, Lewiston 40, Sandpoint 38. Jason and I are going to take a quick break here and talk some things over. We got to go over the IdahoSports.com player of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Transportation Department. We'll be right back after this short break.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FC.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lewiston, Idaho here as we just watched a barn burner, and my goodness, it just seemed a lot similar to last year as Lewiston hangs on to win this in overtime live on Bengal Field 40-38. Now, we have a new sponsor of the IdahoSports.com player of the game. This one is brought to you by the Idaho Transportation Department. And Jason, my goodness, we had a lot of people to pick from in this game.
Yeah, it's one of those where there's, 80 kids on each roster or 45 kids on each roster. There's quite a few to pick from. Sandpoint, there's a number of guys on their side. You have Parker Pettit, who came up huge. You had the defensive dudes. You have Benefield and some of those guys that just kept coming up. Max Frank kept coming up there at the end when they definitely needed him. Hughes. But generally we go with winners, and with winners you have with number 5, kind of changed the game tonight. Chris Ricard came in as quarterback / dual threat, and then Drew Hottinger, who had been kind of the go-to guy as far as the quarterback. We kind of knew that pregame that he was going to be somebody who would come in and be somebody that they'd want to lean on hard. But we decided that number 7, Briggs Duman, a little defense showed up tonight in a game that went into 40-38. Briggs Duman is our player of the game, partially because of the fact that he represents a lot of those guys that just came in tonight and balled out for their team. But he was also super opportunistic with two picks tonight in a game where it looked like offenses were going to run wild. Defense showed up when it needed to, and Briggs Duman, number 7 from Lewiston, is the player of the game.
Well, folks, you heard it right here. Another fantastic barn burn between these two schools, and I hope we get to call them next year. The final score in this one, Lewiston 40, Sandpoint 38 in overtime. Thanks so much for tuning in here on IdahoSports.com, District 2.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of IdahoSports.com is strictly prohibited.